Welcome, my little couch potatoes, to the comfiest courtroom on the internet. I'm your host, Llama, and it's time for dramatic testimony, overruled objections, and absolutely unqualified opinions. So grab your snuggiest blanket, some delicious snacks, and get ready to watch court with your internet besties. This is Couch Court with Llama.
Hello, couch potatoes. Good morning. Happy Thursday. I'm here. I made it. Even though Zoe was trying to do everything she could to make it late. Oh, hold on. I think, what was that? Okay, we're good. We're fine. We're fine. Anyway, good morning. Welcome. Day 3 of the New Hampshire versus Dustin Duren trial. Oh, I missed y'all yesterday, though it was kind of nice to sleep in a little bit. Hi, babes. And do some other stuff that I had to work on. But whatever, we're here today. Today should be exciting. I think the state might rest today. They said Tuesday that they only had 2 to 3 more witnesses left, one being the medical examiner, which I know many of us are waiting to hear from this medical examiner. Especially me. I want to know was there stippling? How far away was he when he shot Caitlyn? So I know that person's definitely here today because they could only be available on Thursday. And then I don't remember if they said who the other 2 were, but I think we narrowed down one was probably the investigator for his police interview because we know there's one of those. I'm not sure, so we'll see. But I do think the state's probably going to rest today. So good morning, Lady in Gray. Hope you're doing well today. Good morning, Liz, all the way from Ireland. Happy afternoon to you, but good morning to us. Love that. Good morning, Bestie Buffy. Hope you're doing well today, babes. Tracy, our newest friend. Hello and good morning. Welcome, welcome. And Pam with her pumpkins. Love it. Good morning. Oh, let me get this. I need to pull this up. Oh my goodness, Llama. Get it together. There we go. I almost had to bury my coffee maker yesterday. Oh, yeah. Could you imagine? It didn't want to work for some reason. It had worked and then it didn't. And I tried to fix it. And then Elbow Feet got home very late and he fixed it just like that. Because, of course, that's how everything happens. Everything breaks when he's away. And then he comes and it's like a quick fix. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, anyway. So tonight, you guys, don't forget it's Thursday. Me and Terry True Crime it'll be her first show back since Europe on True Crime and Wine Time, our podcast that we record live on here and then release to all the pod places. There's so many of them, you can't really list them. Tonight, we're covering All Duckies Go to Heaven, the devastating tale of Judith Barcy. It's sad. It is about a child who was murdered. So it is kind of sad. But her name might not sound very familiar. But if you're a millennial like I am, you may know her as Ducky from The Land of Before Time or as Anne Marie from All Dogs Go to Heaven. Yeah, the little girl who did that was murdered. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's sad. Can we turn the volume up? My speaker is full blast. Maybe I'm just deaf. Like me? I'm quiet? Oh, okay. Let me see. Or do you just, oh. You know what? My microphone is very low. Is that better for everybody? I don't know how that was the case. Bye, sweetie. Have a great day. Is that better for you guys? I don't know how it got down that low. So it's not you, Liz. It's me. And while we're waiting, please hit the like button. It lets everybody know that we're live and that this is where they can find us. Yeah, brilliant. It just involved me turning my volume up. I don't know how is that low. So weird. Oh, technology, not a friend of mine. Not a friend of mine at all. So yeah, 8 p.m. tonight. True Crime and Wine Time. Oh, I hear something. Oh, I hear the metronome. Did not miss that one bit. I'll tell you that. Why is that there? There we go. They don't have anything going on. They don't even have the seal up. Tomorrow, we got another full day of court, most likely. We'll see what the defense does if the state, in fact, does rest today. And what else do we have tomorrow? Oh, we have TMI for all of our members. It's going to be a big show. Myself, Terry, Amy, Lady in Gray, and Annie are all going to be on tomorrow night at 9 p.m. It's going to be a fun time. I'm excited about it. Angie, good morning. Good morning. I hate missing nights with you. I know, Liz, those stupid time zones. None of us like them. Speaking of time zones, our early risers, Angie and Kelly, good morning to you, ladies. Oof, they are way more dedicated than I am, to be honest. I would never wake up that early to watch a trial, but they're dedicated and loyal, Kelly and Angie. All right, we got the, hold on. Ah, yep, thank you for typing on the microphone.
5, 6,
See?
7, 8, 9, 10,
Just testing.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay.
Oh, he can't count past 17. Okay. That's weird. He's like, 17's enough. That's a good stopping point. Did that drive anybody else crazy because he didn't finish going to 20? Because it has me. State expected to rest. Defense case to begin. Good job, Court TV. Eyes a quarter open so far. Well, it looks like there's a quarter on their wall. So
Yeah, they're all going off. I don't know if it was low during it. Okay. All right, talk to me.
okay, they're done tapping the microphone. That's nice. Love that. That reminds me. I forgot there is something I need to pull up if I can find it. Do you guys have any exciting plans for this weekend? I do not. Oh, and it's so cold. It is 43 degrees here right now. Yesterday was a high of 49, and we finally had to turn on a furnace because it was that cold. It's like, oh, it's only going to get colder for months. Months. Where is, did I put that? Yeah. That doesn't seem right. Okay. All right, done and done. Sorry. 36 degrees. Oh, that's freezing. Good morning, Mama Llama. Good morning, Kelly. So I will let you continue to believe that you are the reason I wake up early and not that my dogs woke me up 20 minutes ago. Thanks, Kelly. So it's totally me. They're all still talking. I didn't mute the courtroom. Camera audio guy must not be watching us today. First morning with frost on the windshield taking kiddo to school. Didn't sign up for this. Yeah, we were under a freeze advisory the last 2 nights. Pretty crazy. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So what I was going to tell you guys, because I haven't made post anywhere else yet, because I was supposed to get up early and do that, and I didn't. So we are looking for people that want to join our True Crime and Wine Time team. It is voluntary for now, so I hope you're okay with that. But if you guys are at all interested in helping out, we have all different sorts of positions, if you want to call them that we're looking for people to fill. I'm going to drop the form you can fill out, and that'll go to us, and then we'll contact you via your email. But you don't have to have like all the experience. Most of us didn't. So as long as you have initiative and willing to learn and drive, apply for whatever. We have mod spots available. We have researchers, writers, visual designers, whatever. So if you're interested in joining our team, please fill out this little form here. I'll mention it again a few times today. And we would probably love to have you. Our team is pretty fun. We have a lot of fun. So experience. What's that? I know, right? I'm just saying, I didn't know how to do any of this a year ago. And look at me. I know 60% of what to do because I'm a professional. But yeah, if you want to join our team, we'd love to have you. Okay, well, they're still talking. So they do not like to necessarily start on time, which is kind of annoying, but yeah. We're just as silly off screen as we are on screen. So I need them to hurry up because I'm almost out of this cup of coffee. I have another one, but it's going to be too hot and I'm going to burn my tongue. And then I'll be like that cutie officer from the other day. Oh. Okay. Oh. Somebody was upset their internet wasn't working. I think camera guy forgot he's supposed to mute all this. See what happens when you get one day off? Forget how to do everything. You're not the only one. Like this. There we go. Well, their audio sounds good today, at least on my end. We are ridiculous all of the time. All of the time. Camera guy forgot his coffee. I think so. I think so. Or maybe it's a whole different camera guy. I don't know. How does one get the job to be the camera guy in court? What do I need to learn? Do I just set up? I just sit there? I just shut it off? I feel like I could do this job. And you get to travel, and it's probably paid for because it's a business expense. How do we get this job? Oh, thank you, Liz. Liz says, love you, Llama. You're doing a fantastic job. I've only been on YouTube for a year now, chatting and navigating. Well, see, you've already found the best people to hang out with on the internet. A little biased I am, but you're nailing it. Yes, you are part of our favorite forever family now. So sorry you can't leave, Liz. Won't be happening. Oh, yeah, they definitely work for court TV. But like, I don't really know much about running video and audio, but I feel like I could learn. I mean, how great would that be? Though, I imagine it's not a very comfy job. Does he have to sit on those wooden pews all the time? Which, why do new courtrooms still have those? Just come on, spring the money for some extra padding. Be kind. We're not in Massachusetts. Let's see. What else do I have? Oh, I forgot we added this fun thing. Look at that. You see that? Oh, I just added a QR code up on my face. I'm not going to leave it up there. But if you scan the QR code, it takes you right to our merch store. That's amazing. I love that. The lovely Amos put that together. So yeah, scan it, try it. It'll take you right there. I know we got some new stuff dropping very, very soon. Excuse me, next Monday night. Well, this coming Monday night. Yeah. This coming Monday night is our members appreciation stream. So if you're a member of the channel, and if you're not, you should be. You just click the join button, pick which tier's best for you. I think the cheapest is like 99 cents. We have all sorts of shows. We're doing a member appreciation stream where we're doing some giveaways. You get to find out about some new stuff on the table over here. And this Monday, I'm going to show the first 10 minutes of my newest series, The Devil in the Bay. Just the first 10 minutes, just sneak peek, because that'll be dropping in December and January. I'm very, very excited about it. That way you can see all the cool stuff that Buffy did making that video. So we'll be watching that Monday night. I'm really excited about that. If you're not familiar, I've been recording for the last 2 months a new long-form narrative telling of the Rogers family murders. And they're an Ohio family who went to Florida on vacation and were murdered while they were there. It's very heart-touching. I'll just put it that way. It's so sad. But I think what are we at? 10 parts, I think. So I'll be releasing those probably the middle of December. And I'm very, very excited to do that because I'm trying something different. But yeah, that's what we're starting to work on the other side when we're not live. So your DNA is number 6. What number are you? Pulula's mom asked. Thank you, Pulula's mom. Everybody be like Pulula. Hit that like button. If you're new and you're not subscribed, do that too. We're here all the time. Usually we got something going on this channel. Almost always. That's right. Smash that like button. There's also a new thing for my replay crew watchers. Hello to you, replay crew. I'm sorry. I should do better at acknowledging you. And I'm terribly sorry I don't. There's a lot of stuff that goes on back here. I can somehow manage to do what I do every day. But there's something under the video. I think it says hype. I think that's what it's called. You like have 3 hypes to give if you're part of the replay crew. I don't know exactly what that means. Sorry, I haven't looked into it, but apparently that's something you can do that really helps our videos and get into the algorithm of the YouTube gods. Oh, he has a different suit today. He was wearing an all black suit the first 2 days. Now it's gray. I'd like to be in bed sleeping, P. Lola says. Me too, babes. Me too. Yesterday I was like, oh, I'll sleep in. It'll be so great. I woke up at like 9:30 and I was like, that's not really sleeping in. But okay, fine. I'll take it. I'll take it. Now, the next 2 trials, because I know, is it 9 a.m. there, guys? Yeah, it's 9:06, both where I am and in court. And 9:06 a.m. Boo. Now, the next 2 trials I'm interested in streaming are Nevada versus Devin Michaels. You might have seen her video where she was, a couple months ago, she was to be sentenced for killing, I think, her boyfriend. She cut his head off. So she's about to be sentenced. She took in a plea deal or pled guilty or something. And then she kind of freaks out on the judge. And it's like, no, I don't want this. I want a trial. And is being very hysterical all over the place. I didn't sign up for this. Blah, 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 blah. So they were like, fine, we'll take this guilty plea away and you'll get your trial. So her trial is November 17th, I think. So I'm interested in covering that one. But then the very next day is supposed to be the New Mexico versus Isaac Apodaca, which I wanted to cover a couple of months ago, but then it was postponed. That one is interesting because him and his girlfriend, or I'm a little confused about their relationship status. I'm trying to do this off memory right now. They killed his ex-girlfriend, and I think with a samurai sword. Or was his girlfriend there? I don't know. I don't know what's going on over there, but it seemed very interesting. That's supposed to happen November 18th. So after this trial, I'm not going to be covering a trial until I see where one of those go. I do think at least the Devin Michaels, the Nevada one, I don't think she's going to get a continuance if her lawyers ask for that, just because the judge was already kind of pissed that she decided to take away her plea. So I think that one's definitely going to be happening. What do I like about those two trials? Oh, they're like 2 to 3 hours behind me. And that means I don't have to wake up so early. So we'll be keeping an eye on those two trials specifically and see what happens. I just don't want to like take a trial and then miss both of those because they do sound like a doozies. So good morning, Sam. And there she is, Sammy Sunshine. Ooh, I should make a song for you. Yes. Oh, the lovely Sam. 6 a.m., right? That is dedication over there for our West Coasters. They are. And it's all for me, according to Kelly. I'm just kidding. Your dogs woke you up 20 minutes ago, so I turned on, poof. Did you get rid? Oh, Kelly, how are all the little puppies? Have you found, is it time yet for the puppies to have new homes? How old are they? Like 6 weeks or something like that? Or do you still have all the puppies? I forgot you had like a whole 101 Dalmatians going on at your house with your brother, sister puppies. Anyway, they were super cute. Kelly shared some pictures over in our Discord server when they were born. Oh, they were so cute. Which, if you haven't, please join our Discord server, the Courtyard. It's where everybody hangs out when we're not live. They've been doing some silly stuff over there, which I need to get better about doing. They do this thing. They do one sentence stories, which is a lot of fun to read. I read them and then I'm like, well, now what do I say? I don't know why. For some reason, this thing that they do always just trips me up. I'm like, I need to think of a creative, clever one sentence, and I think too hard about it, and then I don't put anything. Oh, Kelly says I sold them all, but one. My boyfriend is keeping one. Oh, well, good. I hope all the little puppies got new forever homes and that you don't have 101 Dalmatians living in your house anymore, because that's a lot. Ooh. The Apodaca one is interesting because the girlfriend who pled claims she had multiple personalities. Yeah, that's I forgot all about that, Angie. Yes, because the girlfriend had already pled guilty to testify against Apodaca. I don't know. I like DACA. DACA sounds more better. Yes, Savage was making us elf AI photos yesterday too in there. They have a lot of fun over there. But those one sentence stories, right? So one person puts a sentence and they're telling a story, but one person puts a sentence and then the next person goes after. And all I see in big letters on there is more cowbell. So I think this week's story is about me at some point. I don't know. And then at the end of the week, the lovely Amos takes the whole story and then makes some AI visuals to go along with it. So that's very cute. I love it. That is where the cool kids go. Liz says, question on Discord, can you post stuff like Facebook? I looked again yesterday and left a birthday message, but that's as far as I got. Yeah. And you can post pictures, links. If for some reason it's not letting you, just one of our mods will take care of it. We're in the middle of like reorganizing levels and doing stuff. So if you can't figure it out, or usually the little plus sign in the message bar will let you updo photos or links. If it's not working, one of the mods will put you in a role where you can do that. So you just let us know. Is Dr. Lewis going to be there? Sign me up. Oh, I don't know. No, because it's the girlfriend claiming that she has multiple personalities. So she's already pled guilty. I don't know if they need Dr. Dorothy Lewis for that. Oh, that woman. Oh my goodness. Sam says we also have Meme Off and Battle. Meme Off. That sounds funny. It's like Meme but not. meme off and battle all the gifts. So much fun. Definitely come join in our Discord if you haven't already. And can you chat there all the time? My daughter said Discord is only for cool kids. Thank you, little Liz. Yeah, you can chat there all the time. Sometimes we stream stuff. Oh, that reminds me. I think Amos is streaming something this weekend. What is she doing? Oh, Saturday at noon. She's streaming the first season of The Last of Us. And then season 2, Saturday after. I am in the middle of planning a murder mystery party. Yes, trying my best to get it before the holidays, but we'll see. Maybe it's one of those things we might do during the holidays when we're not doing so much here. So, oh, Letitia. Oh, do not miss that trial. That was the trial that I was like, I can't really do kid ones. And then I watched Harmony Montgomery's. That one was pretty. That was the last kid one trial I watched, and I was like, nope, I'm out. Was that in Montgomery? That's New Hampshire too, wasn't it? Or was it Rhode Island? Sometimes I confuse those two states, even though they don't look alike at all. Yeah, murder mystery. We haven't done a murder mystery at all this year, have we? No, I don't think so. Those are a lot of fun. We dress up. We all have characters, and we try to stay in character. And it's crazy, but fun. So, Kelly says, anyone seen the new series of Murders on Hulu yet? It's really good. No, I haven't. Is it all out, or are they releasing like an episode at a time, or what are they doing over there? I think next week maybe. One of the things I want to watch with everybody is the new Netflix documentary, The Perfect Murder. Buffy said it's amazing. And the last time Buffy recommended a documentary to me, she did not disappoint. She did not disappoint. That was the high school catfish one, which was diabolical. But I want to get everybody together and watch that. That's always a lot of fun when we watch stuff together over there. We're very silly. Did have those. Maybe since after this trial we're going to take a break, we might, meet a couple days, because we're still going to do like couch court, but like, maybe we'll read some Chad Daybell letters, or maybe we'll watch the Apodaca interviews. Oh, man, they're both of those trials are going to be so good. How do we stream 2 trials at once? I don't know. Oh, you lived in Rhode Island. Okay, that's an interesting place to come over here and live. Love that, though. A few episodes at first, and then one each week. It has Patricia Arquette in it. I know that, and I love Patricia Arquette. Love her. She's fantastic. I heard The Perfect Murder is fab, and I heard that there's, and I don't know anything about it, so no spoilers. The Perfect Neighbor. Well, yes. I heard that the woman, whatever that means, did a jail interview about it. I also saw, these are things I saw on Reddit, that there's another body cam video or something like that that wasn't in the documentary or shown at trial. And there was something else I saw under it, because I was like, oh man, I guess I'm going to have to watch this, which I haven't had time to do yet. I probably didn't save it, and then I lose things forever on Reddit. P. Lola's mom says the neighbor murder one, that trial was crazy. I don't think I can sit through a TV show. Was the trial televised? Because, we might have some free time. I don't know. I guess we'll look into that. Oh, yeah. Here, I'm going to put, since I'm busy doing this, I'm going to, where should I put this in the Discord, do you think? This is just the Reddit link that I found that had other links to things. So I'll just put it in our general. And then if somebody wants to move it somewhere else, that's totally fine with me. But this one had the links for the other stuff. Like I said, I haven't watched any of it. I haven't watched any of this stuff. So I'm just saying is all. So there you go, Buff. Another rabbit hole for you to go down. Good morning, Buffy. Oh, so everybody's watched this but me? Oh, man. Talk about FOMO over here. What is tonight? Oh, I have a show tonight. Never mind. I have a show the next 2 nights. So I'll probably give it a watch this weekend. Elbow Feet usually does all of his gaming because he's in some cool kid gaming groups now, I guess. I don't know. So he always is busy gaming on Saturdays. I think you watched it with Broken Baker. She was such a Karen. Oh, interesting. Your husband was screaming at the TV. Sounds very much like him. Very much like him. Liz says, how long left on this trial? Okay, so the state's expected to rest today, probably this afternoon. Is the defense going to have a witness ready? Maybe, maybe not. Oh, look at that. Tracy just joined the courtyard. Thanks, Tracy. Enjoy. Let everybody know if you need any help. It's fine. We're all noobs once. Everybody's very friendly. And so it depends, I guess, if the defense has any witnesses. Now, remember, they have 5 witnesses on their witness list. There's Dr. Pittman, who analyzed him for several hours and said something along the lines that he was irrational, that it was PTSD, that sort of thing, which doesn't really benefit them that much in the self-defense claim, right? Because it has to be what a rational, reasonable person would do, I would think, right? But if that's what you're claiming, then you weren't quite reasonable or rational. No offense, but I mean, that's just the truth of it, you know? And then the other people on the list were Aunt Brenda and what was the other? Shannon. Now, remember, if they call those 2, they're getting very close to opening the door about past abuse that allegedly Dustin had with Caitlyn. So do they want to call them? Do they not? I don't know. There's another guy named Arthur Boutin. I don't remember. I know I definitely read his name in the documents, but I don't remember why. And then there's Catherine Gann, who I don't even know who that is at all. It's kind of weird that his family's not on there, considering the dad called but I guess maybe that wouldn't be the appropriate time for them. I'm not sure. And then there's the defendant himself, who usually in self-defense cases, the defendant has to testify. It's not, they don't have to, but you kind of need to, because you have to convey and justify your reason for a justifiable homicide. The only person that can explain that is you. So generally, in self-defense, defendants 9.9 out of 10 take the stand. So another reason why I was interested in this trial, because I mean, come on, anytime a defendant takes the stand, it's a good time, right? So we'll see. I think this is going to be wrapped up by Tuesday, Wednesday next week. Like jury, everything. I'd be surprised if it goes past Wednesday. Because even if the defense wraps up tomorrow, the judge, if they do put on a defense, and even if they rest tomorrow, let's say they call a couple people in Dustin and they rest Friday, he'll wait till morning or Monday to do opening statements and stuff like that. So we'll see. Susan Lawrence's It Was Strained. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay. Wait, I'm not in the... Well, you are now, Tracy. You're one of us. Lady in Gray hasn't watched it either. Okay, well, we know what me and Lady in Gray might be doing this weekend. Right in, watching some crazy documentary. There's Savage. Good morning, Savage. Gaming. Yeah, Elbow Feet plays Project Zomboid, and I don't know anything about his gaming, but he plays Project Zomboid, and he's in with a group of people. One guy has his own Twitch channel, and they put together these Saturday things that he's been doing the last couple Saturdays, and I don't know. You can message him. He's on Discord. That's all I know. I'm like, okay, honey, that's great. Last Saturday was a good time for him. He didn't die for several hours. So I was like, oh, good job. Let me just make sure that I didn't mute this. Okay. Sometimes I do. You were sobbing, and I think oh my gosh, what happens? Oh, all right. We're going to have to get to the bottom of this documentary. Like, geez, oh my goodness. That's right. You can be newbie buddies. Doop, doop. Love that. Good morning to everyone except Lady in Gray. She's picking on me. Oh, wow. Oh, you guys are so great. You guys make this such an entertaining and easy time for me. My son only goes out to play basketball, so it's so different. Oh, my. The trial made you want to throw things in anger. Oh, hey, Ange, since you knew that lady's name, why don't you send me her name so that way I can look into the documentary trial thing, if you don't mind. I know you said it in here, but I lost it already because, of course, I did. Maybe it's too. Is it about dead kids? Because. Oh, no, never mind. I think I see that it's not about that. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what we're going to do with that. Okay, it's not. All right. Cool. That's great. Oh, that coffee is not too hot. It's perfect. Tastes delicious. I was drinking coffee, so Elbow Feet is also on call this week, so he can get called out whenever. And so he finally got home at like 6:37. And remember, my coffee maker broke, so I only had what coffee he had left me in the morning to go off of, right? So he gets home at like 6:30, something like that. He fixes it. I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, you know what I want? I want a cup of coffee at like 6:37 because I forget how old I am. But you know what? It came in handy. He was like, well, we got half calf. And I was like, damn, the one time that half calf comes in handy. So we made that. And then he got called out like 15 minutes later. So good thing we made coffee. She is amazing. Susan Lawrence's. I don't even know how to say that. Thank you so much, Ange. Appreciate you. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Thanks, babes. What are we waiting on, you guys? It is almost 9:30. Who buys coffee with no caffeine? Well, actually, that is from last year when I had to like cut down on my coffee for a little while to try to, wean myself off of how much coffee I generally drink a day. And we still got it. So I don't use it that often in case of emergencies, like if I'm out of coffee, and that's about it. And I put extra in. I don't know if that makes it more caffeinated, but my brain thinks it is. So thank you. Thank you, Ange. Josh's coffee maker broke, right? Maybe. What's funny is because this coffee maker is old, is junk, it's broken. You can't even like do the push the cup under to pour a thing. You have to like lift the lid up, take the bucket out and pour it. And I have a brand new one, a Keurig right under. That's like part pot and single serve. And I don't like the single serves. It's a waste of my time. And it's been sitting there since the last time I thought my junk coffee maker broke. And I haven't switched them out because I'm like, I'm so silly. I'm like, what if my coffee doesn't taste the same? What if it's not good as my old janky coffee pot? Oh, sometimes it's crazy in
Good morning,
here.
members of the jury. Thank you for your service and your punctuality. Again, I
Thank you,
will
Judge.
ask you, simply because there is a media presence with respect to this matter, whether or not in the time since I last asked you the question, if anybody has had any exposure, even if inadvertent, relative to any media coverage, if you could please raise your hand and we will address it.
Oh, well, hold on, Tracy. We might watch it
Please
together.
let the record reflect
Let's
that
see.
none of the jurors raised their hands. Thank you very much. Appreciate your
Get him,
compliance
Liz.
with my instructions. Okay, Attorney Spicer?
Oh, and medical examiner is, I will turn them up more once they get on there. Dr. Rachel. Oh, no, not Dr. Rachel. I don't think that's correct. Llama. Oh, Mitchell, not Rachel.
Dr. Weinberg, could you raise your hand?
Yes, sir.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give will be true under the pain and penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Thank you. Please have a seat.
Okay, guys. We've been waiting for this guy. All right, turn this up for y'all.
Could you please introduce yourself to the jury and spell your last name?
Sure. My name is Mitchell Weinberg.
My
Last
free
name
guy?
is spelled Weinberg.
Dr. Weinberg, where do you work?
I work at the New Hampshire Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, which is based in Concord.
What is your title there?
I am the Deputy Chief Medical Examiner.
And what are the duties and responsibilities of the Deputy Chief Medical Examiner?
My primary job duties relate to conducting and overseeing medical legal death investigations, including the performance of postmortem examinations such as autopsies.
Before we get to what an autopsy is, doctor, do you have any education, training, and experience relative to your position as a Deputy Chief Medical Examiner?
Yes, I do. So after attending university and earning a bachelor's degree, I went to medical school, graduating from medical school in 2008. I then completed an anatomic pathology residency at Ohio State University.
Oh, shit, what's up?
completing that part of my training
Oh,
in
wait.
2011. And then the last stage was a forensic pathology fellowship conducted in Baltimore, Maryland at the Maryland Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, and completing that in 2012. So at that point, I'd completed all of my schooling and training, and I was ready to enter the workforce as a staff forensic pathologist. And I did so, taking a job in Alberta, Canada
Oh,
in 2012, holding that position until 2020, at which time I relocated to New Hampshire to take this position at the New Hampshire OCME.
okay.
Thank you.
Traveler.
You mentioned forensic pathology. I'll ask you first, what is pathology?
Pathology is an area of medicine focused on the study of human disease. It's a very broad field of medicine. Pathologists are often called the doctor's doctor because generally pathologists do not interact with patients directly, at least not very much. Rather, we provide diagnostic information to other physicians so that they can provide treatment to their patients.
So that is pathology. Could you tell us what forensic pathology is?
Sure. Forensic pathology is a branch of anatomic pathology that is focused on the application of principles of pathology and medicine as they can apply to areas of the law and also to some extent to areas of public health.
Does forensic pathology, or is forensic pathology concerned at all with determining cause of death?
Yes, that's a core function of any forensic pathologist's job. It's overseeing medical
Just
legal
like
death
a never.
investigations, and one of the primary reasons is to determine why an individual has died, i.e. the cause and manner of death.
So when conducting one of these medical legal investigations to determine the cause of death, does that include a review of not just diseases, but also trauma or injuries?
Yes.
Dr. Weinberg, what is an autopsy?
An autopsy is a surgical-like medical procedure
Stupid question. I know they have to ask.
involving an examination of a deceased individual. It involves an external examination as well as subsequent internal examinations to document the presence or absence of various disease processes, as well as the presence or absence of various injuries or traumatic findings.
Dr. Weinberg, what is the general procedure that you follow when you conduct an autopsy?
The general procedure is that a body comes into the autopsy suite. I start with documentation of the body as received into our facility. I then undress the body, clean the body, so that I am getting a good look at the cleaned, naked external surfaces of the body for documenting those various findings. Then the procedure continues to an internal examination, which is examination basically from the head down to the pelvis in a standard forensic autopsy. So that, again, to be clear, means opening the chest, abdomen, examining the organs internally, again, for the presence or absence of natural disease processes, the presence of or absence of injuries, and also examining the neck and head contents for those same reasons.
Dr. Weinberg, does your general process for conducting an autopsy include a screening in the way of toxicology?
Yes, not at that same exact moment of time. So during the course of the autopsy on the day of examination, those specimens are collected, and then those specimens are sent to a laboratory that our office contracts with for toxicology testing, and then I usually get the results back 1 to 2 months later.
What is the purpose of having blood sent out for testing?
It varies from case to case.
Thank you.
Sometimes
For super
toxicology provides the answer to the cause of death, such
Good
as
morning.
in drug overdose cases. Other times, it provides additional information about the circumstances. So, for example, in a motor vehicle incident, it's also just, I guess, to be clear, it's standard procedure in pretty much every office that cases involving trauma, a toxicology screen is performed.
Dr. Weinberg, how do you document the results of an autopsy or the conduct of an autopsy?
There's a few different ways. So one is just with handwritten notes. It's literally nothing more than me writing notes on sheets of paper to document the findings. I also document my findings photographically. So that's a big part of modern forensic pathology practice. Lots of digital photographs of pertinent positive and negative examination findings. And then probably the most formal part is for each case, I produce a typed formal written report of my examination findings. And at the completion of that case, I sign and date that document.
Dr. Weinberg, you mentioned that you take photos. Is it common for police officers or law enforcement officials to also be present when an autopsy is conducted?
It depends on the nature of the case. Actually, probably for the majority of my cases, the answer is no. But in certain kinds of cases that may involve future criminal charges, then yes, it is common for law enforcement to be in attendance, and often he or she will take photographs for themselves as well.
Dr. Weinberg, as part of the autopsy, do you determine something called cause of death?
Yes.
What does it mean to determine the cause of death?
Welcome.
The cause of death is the underlying disease process, injury, or intoxication that accounts for an individual's death, no matter how rapidly or how drawn out the time process involved. So examples of causes of death are medical issues such as various forms of cancer, strokes, various forms of cardiovascular disease, as well as injuries. So things like stab wounds, gunshot wounds, asphyxial injuries such as hanging or strangulation. Those are all various types of cause of death that I can put on a death certificate based on the totality of my examination and investigational findings in a case.
Can any of you do this job?
Dr. Weinberg,
I
can you tell us
couldn't.
how many autopsies have you conducted in your career?
I can't tell you an exact number because I don't keep that precise a log, but at this point in my career, about 14 years post-fellowship, it has to be just to either side of 3,000 at this point.
Dr. Weinberg, of those roughly 3,000 autopsies that you have conducted, how many involved gunshot wounds?
Hundreds.
Dr. Weinberg, have you been qualified in court as an expert in forensic pathology on previous occasions?
Yes.
Could you tell us about how many times?
Probably approaching 100 at this point, in the various jurisdictions in which I've worked and testified.
Does that include being qualified as an expert in forensic pathology in the state of New Hampshire?
Yes, multiple times at this point, yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to qualify Dr. Weinberg as an expert in forensic pathology.
Yes, we know he's an expert.
He shall be so recognized.
Dr. Weinberg, did you conduct an autopsy on the body of Caitlyn Naffziger on March 1st of 2024?
Yes.
Where was this autopsy performed?
At Concord Hospital in Concord, New Hampshire.
As part of that autopsy, did you determine Ms. Naffziger's height and weight?
I did.
What were those?
If I may at this point, may I refer to my case file, which has a copy of the autopsy report?
Yes, please refer to your report for purposes of reflection.
Is Concord where Concord grapes are
So Ms.
from?
Nafziger
Someplace
was 60 inches or 5 feet tall and 114 pounds.
Dr. Weinberg, I'll ask you to just close your notes.
Sure.
Oh, she's weighed 114 pounds.
Dr. Weinberg, you talked about the number of ways that you document an autopsy, including photographs and then a report. Did you do those things with regard to Ms. Nafziger's autopsy?
Yes.
Did you conduct an external examination of Ms. Nafziger's body?
Yes.
What, if anything, did you find?
Well, along with just the routine things that I document in every case, things like hair color, eye color, scars, tattoos, presence or absence thereof, things like that. The most significant thing is there were two very obvious defects to the head, which I quickly was able to recognize as gunshot wound injury.
You mentioned that there were two defects that you described as a gunshot injury. Could you describe, did you assign any sort of classification to those injuries?
Yes. During the course of the examination, ultimately I was able to determine that one of the defects represented an entry wound and the other defect represented an exit wound. Therefore, I was able to determine that there was a single gunshot wound to the head with both entry and exit wounds present.
So I'd like to ask you about that. What is an entry wound?
An entry wound is the term that a forensic pathologist will use for the defect, the injury, the hole, where the bullet enters an individual's body.
And following that, what is an exit wound?
So same sort of thing, except now we're talking about from where the bullet exits the body. Every gunshot wound has to have some sort of entry. Not every gunshot wound has an exit. Some gunshot wounds have a retained projectile, but that was not so in this case.
How are you able to determine the difference between an entry wound and an exit wound?
Largely, it is a product of my training and experience at this point. Simply put, they look different, and it is my training and experience that allows me to make that distinction. Most of the time, it's pretty straightforward for an experienced forensic pathologist to differentiate an entry wound from an exit wound. They look different, they have different characteristics, different features, and that's just externally. There are also internal features that can help with that distinction when necessary. Everything in this case did align with the ultimate way I classified, as one side being the entry wound and the other side being the exit wound.
Dr. Weinberg, you mentioned an entry wound and an exit wound, and then you classified them collectively as a gunshot wound. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that's correct.
So is it your opinion that that entry wound and that exit wound were caused by the same bullet?
Yes.
Could you tell us where those wounds were?
Yes,
see
and
that.
again, I just want to refer to my notes because I don't want to switch the laterality.
Sure.
Excuse me, not my notes. I'm actually looking at the formal autopsy report. So in Miss Naffziger's case, the entry wound is on the left side of the head, on the temporal scalp, which basically means the portion of the head above the ear. So approximately in that general region where I'm pointing on myself, just for demonstrative purposes to the jury, but for the written record, I'm pointing slightly above my left ear. That was the entry wound in this case.
Where was the exit wound?
The exit wound was basically just on the opposite side, so on the right side, also a little bit above the right ear.
Dr. Weinberg, were you able to determine the bullet's course of travel through Ms. Naffziger's head?
Yes.
What was it?
The bullet passed through the skull and then basically passed through the brain. The report documents the specific anatomic structures in the brain, which
I don't have a
I'll get
face
into
to work
if
in court.
necessary, but essentially the bullet passed right through Miss Naffziger's brain.
After passing through her brain, did it then exit through her skull again?
Yes, so passed through the left side of the skull, through the brain, and then through the right side of the skull, and then exited the body through the skin.
Did you recover a retained projectile from anywhere inside Ms. Naffziger's body?
No, I did not in this case.
Dr. Weinberg, you told us about the path that bullet traveled, in your expert opinion. Did you observe any internal injuries to Ms. Naffziger associated with that bullet?
Well, yes, the injuries to the skull, the dura mater, which is the covering around the brain, and the brain were all injured by the gunshot wound in this case. They were injured by the bullet.
And could you describe just what was your diagnosis of those injuries for the record?
You mean
What were the injuries?
go specifically through the parts of the brain? Sure, I'm again
Oh.
going to refer to my
This is necessary. I don't think this is
Here,
necessary. But
but-
okay.
The bullet passes through the left temporal cerebrum, cerebral white matter, and deep nuclei, such as the basal ganglia and the thalamus, the right frontotemporal cerebrum, and the right, and then out through the skull. So, again, those are just specific anatomic regions of the cerebrum, which is kind of the main portion of the brain that people think about when you think of a picture of the brain.
Did you observe anything along the lines of hemorrhaging or contusions to parts of Ms. Naffziger's brain?
Yes, there was bleeding, which is absolutely expected, associated with any sort of traumatic injury in a living person, including a gunshot wound. There were also areas of associated bruising on the surface of the brain. These are all, just to be clear, injuries that are directly associated, and findings, I should
I agree,
say,
Sam.
associated with the gunshot wound.
Dr. Weinberg, were the injuries to Ms. Naffziger's brain from that gunshot wound fatal?
Yes,
So in other words, did those cause her death?
yes.
Dr. Weinberg, are you familiar with the term range of fire?
I am.
Could you please tell us what that
Here we go.
Sure. Range of fire is a determination that a forensic pathologist can make in a gunshot wound case that basically answers how far away was the gun at the time of discharge. So basically, we're talking about the distance between the tip of the weapon and the skin surface. And there's basically three classifications or three
yeah,
groupings that I make when I assess range of fire in a gunshot wound case.
Ma'am, this is the thing we all want to hear, which means you must not want us to hear it. I'm ready on the mute button. Oh, thank you. Camera guy did it for us. He's our bestie. I love that. Yeah, that guy needs to
team down there, but who am I to talk? My hair is a mess today. We're about to find out how far away he was, possibly, when he shot her. I mean, I really hope this guy takes a stand. I really do. Let me hear what his stupid face has to say about this. But like Elbow Feet says, if you haven't, please like the video. And if you're not subscribed, please do. Helps our little channel out a lot. We're almost to 2,100 subscribers. I don't remember how far away. We're very close to 2,100. I know I checked the other day. Let's see. We're almost there. Let's see how far away we are. Oh, and if you share on social media, that would be great too. Oh, we're at 2,092. So we only need 8 more subscribers and we're going to hit 2,100 subscribers, which is very exciting. I love that. Love that a lot. Oh, there's Michael. Good morning, Michael. There's going to be stippling. I think there's going to be stippling too. I think so. I think so. Also, good morning to you, Michael. Speaking of, we're missing our other token guy. Where's Dave? Oh, it's almost Dave time. I say it's almost 10 o'clock. Hit the like button and the bell so you don't miss a thing because we're always doing something crazy over here. I could never be a forensic pathologist at all. I could never be a doctor to begin with. This whole stuff is just not me, and I appreciate those who it is. So, oh, that trial is short as shit. Nice. Okay. All right. Well, we'll look into that neighbor murder trial. Thank you, Ange. She's doing what Angie does best, finding me stuff. You smash that button. Yeah. Thank you, Kathy. Hope you're doing well, babe. Glad to see you back around. Hope you're doing great. What are you guys thinking so far, verdict-wise? I mean, I think I know, but I just don't want to assume. You know what assuming means. The other day we did read the defense's instructions to the jury, which does make me a little nervous. Is this my new lip gloss or my old one? Are we empty already?
Dr. Weinberg, I believe the question posed to you was, what is range of fire?
Sure. So I think I was at a point where I was explaining that as a forensic pathologist, we classify range of fire into one of 3 categories. And it, again, relates to the distance between the tip of the weapon and the skin surface at the time of discharge. So the first category is contact, which basically means the gun is up against the skin at the time of discharge. The second grouping is intermediate range of fire, which basically means from a few inches away up to about 3 feet. That's the intermediate range of fire. And then beyond that is a distant range of fire, or indeterminate, or, as the phrasing I use, no evidence of close range firing. So intermediate and contact are considered close range firing. That is, the tip of the weapon is less than about 3 feet from the tip of the skin.
I love that. Like, oh, look at him just rolling his eyes. Like, oh my God, what are we? Let's be besties, Dr. Mitchell Weinberg. Look at him. I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm sorry. What? Sir, you know you're not supposed to do that, right? Oh, that's funny. He's been an expert, what do you say, 100 times probably? He's just like, my new bestie. Did you use the mirror? Hmm. Also, you guys, even though they haven't brought up domestic violence in this case, it's not because it's not there. It's just because they haven't opened the door to it. I do have the number and text number in case anyone out there is in a domestic violence situation. There is help out there, safe help to get out, because the statistics are not good of what could happen next. So below, you'll see text begin to 88788, or you can call the 24/7 National Domestic Violence Hotline, and they will help you find a safe place to go, because I don't want to cover your trial. Okay. So if you're in there, please call that number, text that number, find a way out. It is Domestic Violence Awareness Month as well. So, my thoughts go out to everyone who's in those situations. It's a lot more common, and victims can be anybody. It's not, no demographic is safe from domestic violence. So you're not accustomed to me being on at 8:45? I know. Me either, Michael. Me either. But here we are. Bright and early. You didn't even start till like 9:30 today, so that was great. Love that. Look, Kathy says, I am a survivor and they can help. Yes, there's all sorts of, organizations, and, some places will put you up in a hotel for a while, or, get you what you need to exit that safely. So thank you for sharing that with us, Kathy. Appreciate that. Oh, yes. Also, Buffy, thank you. Thank you, because I didn't think about that either. That if you're a veteran struggling with PTSD, because it is real, okay, it is, please reach out to the VA. There is help. PTSD, there's nothing to be ashamed of about that. But if it's something you struggle with, please get the help out there for you, or even, civilians with PTSD. It's a very, very real thing, debilitating thing there. So now we don't know if he actually has PTSD, but he could. We just haven't heard as such. We just know that's what the defense has been alleging. So that is very true, Michael. People don't realize just how hard it is to make the break from an abuser, especially when children are present. Yes, especially with children. But unfortunately, a lot of these cases don't end well for a lot of people. So Kathy says they may help you with clothes, food. I imagine if you have children, they'll probably really, really help get you and the children, safe. Oh, and Callie P, Team Thirsty. It's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month as well. So don't forget to get your boobies checked out, ladies. Okay. You never know. It's always good to do. I know it's not great. I got to get my first one this year. Then, no, that's not great. Don't love that, but it's important. And we have a lot of survivors of breast cancer here in the chat and on the team. So please go get those checked out as well. Like me with all these announcements today. PTSD from car accidents? Yes. Oh my gosh. I don't like driving. I don't like driving at all. And men get breast cancer too. That they do. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about. Oh, I like her blouse a lot.
Dr. Weinberg,
Men
let me ask you again to
can happen as well.
categories of fire.
Okay.
He's so annoyed.
So the first category of range of fire is contact, which means the tip of the weapon is basically up against the skin surface up to maybe a couple of inches away. Intermediate range of fire means that the gun tip is a little bit further back. Usually it's defined as somewhere between 6 and 36 inches away from the skin surface. That's the intermediate range of fire. And again, in combination, contact and intermediate are lumped as close range firing. If you don't see any of the markers of either contact or intermediate range of firing, the gunshot wound is defined as an indeterminate range of fire or distant range of fire, or the phrasing I use in my reports, no evidence of close range firing. And again, that generally means that the tip of the weapon is at least 3 feet away or more.
So Dr. Weinberg, when you determine that something is in that last category as not close range or indeterminate, you can't tell if something is 37 inches or 37 feet, can you?
That's correct.
You mentioned markers that you use to determine whether a gunshot wound falls into one of these 3 categories.
What is it?
Those markers are the presence of soot around a wound, as well as imprints from the muzzle or other parts of the gun, such as a sight or a firing pin. Those are things that are generally seen in the contact range of fire. Intermediate range of fire is classically defined with the presence of something called gunpowder stippling, which are basically these tiny little pinpoint marks around a gunshot wound from gunpowder particles striking the skin. But once you get beyond about 3 feet or 36 inches, those markers generally are not going to be present, and therefore, as I said, you have no evidence of close range firing, and you can opine that the gun is 3 feet or more away from the skin surface at the time of discharge.
Dr. Weinberg, with regard to Ms. Naffziger, did you observe any of those marks that you described as evidence of close or intermediate range firing?
No, no such markers were present in this case.
So in your opinion, were the wounds that you observed on Ms. Naffziger in that third category of indeterminate or distant fire?
Yes, in my opinion, the entry gunshot wound in this case shows no evidence of close range firing.
And again, that means 3 feet or more.
Correct.
Well, that's interesting. No, it wasn't, Liz. He was at least 3 feet or more away, which I don't think is good for him.
21A through D, could you please take a look at this?
Sure.
Almost makes it worse, because clearly you're not in a physical altercation.
What are these?
These are a small sampling of the autopsy photographs that I took during Ms. Naffziger's examination. More specifically, there
Don't worry,
are
we
2
shouldn't,
photographs
by the way.
each of the entry and exit wounds at various magnifications or at various stages of the examination process.
Same, Michael.
Dr. Weinberg, do these photos, 621A through D, clearly and accurately represent the state of Ms. Naffziger's wounds at the time you conducted her autopsy on March 1st, 2024?
Generally, yes. There has been some alteration, and specifically what I mean is these wounds were in parts of the head where there is hair. So it's very standard in my line of work to document those wounds both as is, i.e. with the hair there, with the hair still present, and to clean and shave the skin around the entry wounds and exit wounds when there is hair present. So
Remember, she's just sitting on the couch.
clearing of the hair around the wounds that you'll see in some of these photographs, I did that as part of the examination. That's what I mean by manipulation, but otherwise, yes.
So just to be clear, Dr. Weinberg, these photos show a fair and accurate representation of Ms. Naffziger's wounds during the autopsy you conducted, and that includes both before and after you made those alterations you described by shaving or cleaning up some of those areas.
Yes, that's correct.
At this time, the state moves to strike the ID on states 21A through D.
The ID may be stricken with respect to 21A through D inclusive, and they shall be considered as full exhibits.
We've been debating about that portion there of whether or not he was holding the kid when he did it. I say that he was holding the kid when he shot her. But if either way, 3 feet or more, like if she was holding the kid, then he's further enough away
Dr.
to
Weinberg, you can see up on the screen, and you
shoot
can
her.
hold an
And from
answer.
there, like,
This is State's Exhibit
Hmm.
21A. Can you please tell the jury what they're looking at?
Yes, this is
or he had
a
successfully gotten
medium
the child away from her and
magnification
shot her anyway.
view showing the left side of Miss Naffziger's head.
Sam's
And
echoes here.
this wound specifically, I'm sorry, this picture specifically is showing the presence of the entry gunshot wound after I have
I see
cleaned
what
it
you
up
mean now.
and cleared away some of the surrounding hair.
And again, Dr. Weinberg, that cleaning up, it was so that you could better examine this wound?
Exactly. That's, I mean, this is just
I'll be
very
back.
standard forensic pathology practice throughout North America. You examine the wound as is, but you also clean it up for this exact reason. Sometimes there are features that are better seen, and I mean, I don't think I need to get into it more, but
Thank you,
that's
sir.
why.
I'm now showing you State's Exhibit 21B. What is this?
This is essentially very similar to the previous photograph, except at a higher magnification. Again, it's very common to take photographs at multiple levels of magnification, just to show different features. This is a higher magnification view of the entry gunshot wound.
Now, this wound appears to be, for lack of a better term, fairly clean. There don't seem to be a lot of sharp edges. Is that a hallmark of an entry wound?
This is a very classic appearance of an entry gunshot wound. Yes, it is. It's fairly rounded in nature. It is somewhat punched out because the skin does actually get physically punched out as the bullet passes through. This is a textbook entry gunshot wound that I would use for teaching purposes.
Now showing State's Exhibit 21C. What is this, Dr. Weinberg?
So this photograph is showing now the right side of Miss Naffziger's head. There's been a little bit of cleaning at this point in the photograph, but there is, the hair obviously hasn't been removed yet. Above and in front of the right ear, there is the defect that I've previously spoken about, and this is a photograph of the exit gunshot wound in this case.
Just one more. Dr. Weinberg, what are we looking at here?
Now, so same perspective as the previous photograph, but a little bit higher magnification, and also now there has been cleaning of the wound and removing of the hair to facilitate better documentation. Here you can see the features of the exit gunshot wound, much more jagged, ragged, not that clean circular or ovoid type appearance of an entry gunshot wound. There's also a little fragment in the wound that I believe is a bony fragment from the skull having been injured. So that's what we're looking at in this photograph.
Thank you. Dr. Weinberg, other than the gunshot wounds that you've described, did you observe any other injuries to Ms. Naffziger during your external or internal examinations?
No,
Any other injuries or trauma in other parts of the body?
no,
Any evidence of significant natural disease?
no,
Any significant findings from the results of Ms. Naffziger's toxicology screening?
no.
So, Dr. Weinberg, in your opinion, what was the cause of death for Ms. Naffziger?
In my opinion, Miss Naffziger's cause of death was a gunshot wound of the head.
And it's the gunshot wound that we've been discussing and that you just described for us using pictures?
Correct.
Thank you. I have no more questions.
Okay, thank you. brief recess right now. We'll be back at 10:15. We'll get restarted at 10:15. Again, I
Okay.
instruct you not to discuss the case amongst yourselves, and if anyone does so, please indicate so to the court security officer or bailiff. Thank you. We'll be back at 10:15.
Okay. Well, I guess we're doing a quick break. Okay. All right. Well, let's answer some of your guys' questions. Sorry, I had to go get more coffee. You know how that is. Let's see. Where were we over here? Let me scroll up some more. Okay, there we are. Angie says she was holding her, and supposedly he said he ripped the child away, then shot. I think that's what happened. But yeah, this is a brand new case for most of us. We had never heard of this one either. When Angie came to me and said, "Hey, this trial seems interesting," and her and I looked all over the internet for information about this case, and there really wasn't a lot to look into. So very new for a lot of us. Savage says, if she was sitting on the couch and unarmed, he's cooked. Has to be some kind of reasonable threat for it to be self-defense. I agree. And she had no weapons on her or around her. They said when they found her body that she had one leg. She was sitting on one end of the couch. I can't remember which end. But sitting on the end of the couch, one leg propped up on the table. I believe she was wrapped in a blanket, is what they made it. I don't know if it was this way or this way, but either way, I had a blanket on, and she didn't have shoes on. So I don't know how they're seriously doing this with a straight face. So yeah, this is new for all of us. It is very sad that the children are involved. Yes. Yes, it is. And they did have Yulin, the oldest one, who's only like 5 or 6. They had her on the witness list, but it looks like they're not calling her, which I'm glad, because that just doesn't need to happen, I feel, in this case. So Angie said, I'm so glad court was generous enough to take yesterday off from my appointments. They're so accommodating to us, aren't they? Aren't they? Lillian Grace says, well, if he ripped the child away, then neither him or the child was in imminent danger. Exactly. Oh, and also, you know, because they're saying, oh, kidnapping. He believed that she was going to kidnap the children. She didn't have a car. Okay. She flew into New Hampshire, stayed with him for a night. Her nearest family was still a good distance away. Aunt Brenda was. So how can you reasonably think that this 114-pound woman is going to kidnap a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old who's still in a car seat, right? The little carrying ones. In what, by the time you called the cops to be like, oh, she's stealing the kids. She's not getting that far. She's not getting that far at all. It's crazy to me. It's very crazy to me. Liz says, surely he doesn't have a leg to stand on here. I mean, I'll say this. The jury instructions are a little, they make me a little nervous. But we'll see. I think he's going to take the stand and really lose it, is what I think. Angie, how much did you have to pay them? Angie said the child sounded like she was close enough because she said she had an earache from the gunfire. Yeah. Savage asked, what kind of firearm was it? It was a Beretta, a 9mm. It was the bullet. I don't know if that's with the gun, but it was a Beretta. It was his dad, who was the sheriff in Minnesota. It was one of his old service weapons. He gifted one to each of his sons, and that was the gun that Dustin used. Dustin did not have any other firearms at the house, or at least they haven't said that he did, and they definitely would. They definitely would if he had a lot. So it's still dark over there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's getting that time where it's like dark. It gets earlier and earlier. Yes, Savage. Yes. You missed what? The medical examiner, Pula Lisma. So she was, I'll recap that for you real quick. She was shot here above her ear on the left-hand side, so this side, went straight through and out to the other side. The medical examiner said that the shot occurred at least, at minimum, 3 feet or further away. It was not at contact or immediate range. So he was not right next to her, but at minimum 3 feet away. So, let's see. Yeah, it's so sad. So sad. What was she going to use? Uber? Exactly. And her phone's sitting right beside her. And I just don't see a reasonable belief. And also, listen, why didn't you call the cops then? Well, I can tell you why he didn't call the cops, because he didn't have legal custody of those children. All right. We learned that whether both the girls were born in Minnesota or Nevada, both of those states are unwed mother states. When I look through court documents, one of the footnotes said that there was no formal custody agreement between them at all. So that's why he didn't call the cops, is because the cops would be like, she has the rights to those kids. You don't have any. That's my assumption there, why he didn't want to get the cops involved. But again, though, it doesn't really matter. Like, if you think she's kidnapping children, that they're in that sort of danger, a third party in danger, I just, I can't seem to get over this hurdle into self-defense. The more we've learned, the more it just doesn't seem exactly. How is she kidnapping? Yeah. Well, the trial is in New Hampshire, Kathy, but him and Caitlyn were from Minnesota. Both of their families are in Minnesota. Okay. Now they had moved to Vegas for a while. Then they moved back to Minnesota. He lived with his parents and she lived with a friend, and they would still like exchange the children a lot. Allegedly, she was very afraid of him. They came up with this plan that they were going to move to New Hampshire. Not really clear why New Hampshire, but that's where they were going to go. He said he wanted to take Yulin with him. She let him, according to Aunt Brenda. She only did it because she was scared of him. And so he went out there first. He had only been out there for maybe a month, which I don't believe is abandonment. I'm not sure about the statute on abandonment there, but even then, abandonment is it's still a whole court process. It's a whole thing. And so she flew out there with their other child, who was 1. Her Aunt Brenda picked her up. They met halfway, where she met up with Dustin and Yulin, and they stayed the night at his house. And apparently they were supposed to leave. We're still not entirely sure because we only heard opening statements. And she refused to go and said, I'm going to get the kids taken away from you. I'm going to call the police. And then he shot her because they're arguing self-defense of kidnapping. So, oh no, I'm sorry. Be a little less mom. So that's what we know so far. And it's not passing the smell test for a lot of us at all. And he's also former military, I believe, Marine. Yes. He's a former Marine. They said that he has PTSD, but also that hasn't been documented in court yet. That might be what Dr. Pittman might be for, but that comes with some problems because of his report. Wouldn't help his self-defense case very much, because if he was acting irrational because of PTSD, that's not really what that means for self-defense. So I don't know. I call BS on self-defense too, because in the wording too that they had for the jury was like, it didn't have to be true that she was kidnapping them. He just had to believe that she was, because that's one of the things that the lawyers have been arguing this whole time, is he had no way of, she did have a plan with her aunt to try to get the kid back. That was why she was out there, to regain custody of her kid again and take the children back to Minnesota with her. But Dustin was not actually aware of this plan. He had not talked to his aunt, her aunt, or her other friend, or her about it, allegedly. So is that a reasonable belief? I don't see it. I don't see it. That's the part that makes me a little nervous when it comes to jury instructions. And the verdict is, did he reasonably believe? You know, so people can believe a lot of shit. Doesn't mean that it's real. So I
Yes, sir.
guess we'll see.
Good morning, ma'am.
Just a few questions.
Sure.
So
Exactly.
you made a specific finding that there was no evidence of close-range firing, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And this means that you did not see
This
the
is
markers
defense.
often associated with close-range firing, correct?
Correct.
But you cannot say with 100% certainty that the gun was not fired within 3 feet.
No, I suppose not, particularly considering that there was hair overlying the entry wound. But again, I see no such markers around the entry wound in this case.
I believe it.
But you can't say 100% that it wasn't within 3 feet.
Oh, man.
There are very few things as a forensic pathologist that I can say with 100% certainty. It is not my opinion that the range of fire is less than 3 feet in this case.
Well, you cannot tell this jury the exact distance.
He's gonna roll his eyes.
Was fired, correct?
No, I certainly can't. As I said on direct, once you kind of pass that 3-foot barrier and there are no visible signs of close range firing, there's nothing I can do to distinguish whether the range of fire is, say, 40 inches or 50 inches or 80 inches, etc.
And you weren't there, right?
Oh,
Where?
jeez.
At the apartment when the shooting happened, correct?
No, of course not.
No. So you didn't see what happened, right?
No, of course not.
And
That's
you
stretching,
didn't
girl.
see where the gun was.
Morning
when it was
stretches.
fired, correct?
That is correct.
And you didn't see what Caitlyn was doing, correct?
Correct.
You didn't hear what she was saying, correct?
Correct.
You don't know where Dustin was when he fired it, correct?
Correct.
By the way,
You
this
don't
is when
if
you
it
know.
was fired in self-defense, right?
That is not my role to assess.
Or in defense of others.
Basis.
Sure.
Well, you're going to sidebar again. So, yes, a lawyer can ask those kinds of questions. But in my experience of watching trials, when a defense attorney has to go down the 100% degree of certainty and you weren't there during the murder, nobody saw it, they usually aren't, it's not good for them. That's not a very strong argument. I mean, they got nothing, and it's not good for them.
Dr. Weinberg, you do not know if it was fired in defense of others either.
I have no opinion on that matter. My role is to examine Ms. Naffziger, determine her cause and manner of death, assess injuries. It is never my role to assess that kind of thing, justifiability, self-defense, any of those questions. That is not my role as the medical examiner or as a forensic pathologist. So I have no opinion on that matter.
I do like her jacket, though. I will say I like a lot of the defense team's clothing. Yeah, those questions are, well, we got nothing, and that didn't, it's not great for us. Most likely, Liz, most likely, in self-defense cases, almost always the defendant has to go up and testify. Not has to as in like legally has to, but for a conviction, or I mean, for there not to be a conviction, a jury usually needs and expects to hear from the defendant themselves to convey this, you know, personal fear that they had. Or at least I can say in all the self-defense cases I've watched, the defendant testified in all of them. So, in theory, he should.
Yes. Manner of death is a classification that I must do in my role as a medical examiner for the state of New Hampshire.
What? This guy there, he's king. Oh, man. Oh, boy. You can tell he's from the Midwest. I love him. Dr. Mitchell Weinberg, if you ever want to come on Couch Confessions with Llama and talk about your work, though, as a forensic pathologist, I would love to have you on. You're very knowledgeable. Also, you went to OSU. Not that far from where I live. So, we can bond. We can bond. Yes, Liz. Yeah, that's a pretty big, it's a pretty big thing here with self-defense is, especially if you're the only person there. Hell, even in cases like Kyle Rittenhouse, where everything was filmed from the beginning of that day to the end of the day. I don't think Kyle really needed to take the stand because of the amount of video evidence, but he did. But in other self-defense cases as well, that's about the one defense where you're like, ooh, that guy's gonna have to go up there. See, look at her shirt. Her shirt would look great with her blazer.
Manner of death is part of my statutory role as a medical examiner for every single case that I am involved in. So we talked about cause of death before.
I feel like it's my
That's
spirit animal.
The injury, the medical issue, the substance toxicity that accounts for a patient's death. Manner of death is a classification relating to the circumstances around a death. Whereas cause of death is free text, I can say or write whatever I want. Manner of death is, think of it like it's a drop-down menu. I only have 5 choices for how I classify manner of death in a case. Those options are natural, suicide, accident, homicide, or undetermined. And that is, again, it's a classification relating primarily to the circumstances of how an injury occurred for deaths that are non-natural.
Now, Dr. Weinberg, you mentioned natural, accident, homicide, suicide. Those are not legal determinations that should carry any weight with the jury, are they?
No, as far as I'm concerned, they are part of my role as a medical examiner, and they are not statements of, they're not legal determinations.
In your opinion, what was Caitlyn Naffziger's manner of death?
I classified the manner of death in this case as homicide.
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't know they did mock trials. I'm not surprised, but I didn't need him to get up there, though, to reach not guilty. But I can see how a lot of people probably would have needed that. But that's very interesting. I did not know that, Lady in Gray. Thank you for sharing. It's a fascinating trial on self-defense, like
Dr. Weinberg,
textbook.
homicide is a classification on how the injury occurred. That's what you just told us?
Generally, yes.
It's not an opinion on whether a crime occurred, correct?
That is most definitely correct. Yes, ma'am.
There you are.
Okay. Dr.
All
Weinberg,
right.
excused.
Dave, that was just the medical examiner. Basically, she was shot on one side of the head, out the other, from a distance of 3 feet or more away. So no stippling, no immediate close range. Oh, you know what I was going to do? Hold on. Love that. Applause for you, Mr. Weinberg.
At this time, the state will call Sergeant Michael McLaughlin.
Sergeant Michael McLaughlin. Oh, I wonder. Yeah, there we go. He is with the New Hampshire State Police. Ooh, are we getting interview time?
Sergeant McLaughlin, if you can remain standing there, please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony that you're about to give is the whole truth under penalties of perjury?
I do.
Can you lower your
You're welcome,
Sergeant
Dee.
Bachman, I'm going to ask if you haven't already done so, if you can pull that microphone a little bit closer to you.
It was.
Thanks
How's
so
that?
much. Sir, what is your current employment?
Some people don't like
I'm
that.
employed, I'm a detective sergeant with New Hampshire State Police assigned to Troop C,
And how long have you been working with the New Hampshire State Police?
15 years.
How long have you been assigned to Troop C?
15 years.
Did you have law enforcement experience prior to joining the New Hampshire State Police?
I served in the military as a military policeman
Mm.
for 14 years.
As a sergeant with the New Hampshire State Police, what does that mean your responsibilities are?
So detective sergeant with the state police, I have 2 detectives assigned to me, so 3 of us total. We're assigned to Cheshire and Sullivan counties, responsible for the more serious crimes, burglaries, thefts, sex assaults, all the way up to and including homicide, assisting major crime.
When you say assisting major crime, what do you mean by major crime?
So major crime is basically what most agencies would call a homicide unit or homicide investigative unit.
And as part of your responsibilities as a detective sergeant with Troop C, or as a detective in general with Troop C, you assist the major crime unit if they need help with those kinds of investigations?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you have any kinds
I'll
of
be back.
training or experience that you utilize during your job with regard to conducting investigations?
Yes.
What kinds of training do you have?
So I have basic investigative trainings. I do have training in homicide specifically. On a death investigation specifically, I do have training in interview and interrogation. There's a lot more training and experience.
Well, let me ask you about that. You said that you had trainings with respect to interviews and interrogation. Are those two things interchangeable, or can you explain to us what the difference is between the two?
Sure. And this is more my definition based on my experience. But interview, I would say the person that is being interviewed would do the majority of the talking. Interrogation, on the other hand, would be, the investigator would be doing most of the talking. Interrogation is more direct questions as opposed to an interview that would be open-ended questions, and the suspect would be given the opportunity to, or the interviewee would be given the opportunity to answer those questions.
Do you conduct interviews of suspects or interrogations?
Generally, or mostly interviews. Occasionally, it does turn into an interrogation.
Did there come a time when you became involved with an investigation that was being conducted by the Major Crime Unit into a homicide that occurred on February the 29th of 2024 in Berlin, New Hampshire?
Yes.
And I guess let me back up. Troop C, what areas of New Hampshire does that cover?
So it's Cheshire County and Sullivan County, so the southwest section of New Hampshire.
Where are the barracks for Troop C located?
Keene, New Hampshire,
Where in Keene?
15 Ashbrook Court, which is right off of Route 9.
How far from, let's say, the Applebee's in Keene is your troop barracks?
It's one intersection away, it's less than a mile.
What was your role in the investigation that you became a part of, the one that happened in Berlin?
So initially, I was the closest detective to a traffic stop that was ongoing. And then eventually, I was assigned to conduct an interview with Mr. Duren.
Now, can you explain how it is that you actually did become involved? You said you were the closest detective. How did you become aware of this traffic stop that was occurring?
So before that, I was aware of the death investigation for 2 different ways. So I received text messages for all death investigations in the state. So I was aware that there was a death investigation in Berlin in the early morning hours. I also received an Amber Alert, which added to that. When I signed on for duty that morning, it was 7:30 that morning, I signed on for duty. State Police has a computer dispatch program, and I'm able to see what's going on in the entire state. I did look to see what was going on in the Berlin case. But I was at the barracks. We monitor Keene Police Department's radio as well as Cheshire County's radio at the barracks. There was some commotion. It's in another room, so I didn't totally hear what the transmissions were. But at some point, my lieutenant popped his head into my office and said that the vehicle from the Amber Alert is at the Applebee's in Keene.
Once you heard that, what did you do?
My first reaction is, no, it's not. But after a few minutes, I decided it would probably be best, again, being the closest detective, to head over there and verify that, because I knew my phone would be ringing eventually with questions. So I drove to the Applebee's and ultimately verified that it was the correct vehicle.
When you arrived at the Applebee's, what did you see? What was happening?
So there was a Keene police cruiser. I recognized the white Subaru from the Amber Alert, so I noticed that was parked. The Keene cruiser was not far behind it. There were several other Keene cruisers, a lot of officers and state troopers at that point, and some other people in the area. What I did was I spoke to the Keene officers, and my lieutenant was at the scene, determined that Mr. Duren was in the back of one of the cruisers, and just briefly introduced myself, expecting to have a further conversation with him later on that day.
Okay. When you say you introduced yourself, you approached Mr. Duren, and you indicated, did you introduce yourself, say who you were?
I did.
Okay. And did you ask him any questions at that point?
Basically, like, is he okay? Is there anything I can get him? Is he comfortable? And just said that he would most likely be coming to the Troop C barracks in Keene, and that we would have a lengthy conversation once he got there. What I do recall is the heat, and I felt it myself, but the heat inside the Keene cruiser was on very high, and Mr. Duren asked if I could have the Keene officer adjust that, which they did.
There we go.
Now, you have looked several times towards a location in the courtroom when you say the name Mr. Duren or Duren. Do you see Mr. Duren, the person that you introduced yourself to that day here in this courtroom?
I do.
Could you, by pointing him out and or identifying him by an article of clothing that he's currently wearing, please let us know where he is?
Sure. He's seated right here, almost directly in front of me, wearing a gray suit. We'll call it a purple shirt and a paisley purple tie.
Your Honor, identifying the defendant for the record.
The record shall so reflect.
Now, when you see the defendant here today in court, does he appear to you to be does he look the same as he did when you first met him?
He's got a haircut, and his beard is a little shorter, but he does look the same.
Showing you what is marked for identification purposes is State's Exhibit 18 for this case. Can you take a look at that and let me know if you recognize it?
I do.
What is it?
It's a photograph of Mr. Duren.
Okay, and does that photograph clearly and accurately show Mr. Duren at the time that you met him on March the 1st of 2024?
Yes.
So at this time, the state moves to strike the identification and admit State's Exhibit 18 as full.
No objection.
The ID shall be stricken and Exhibit 18 shall be considered a full exhibit.
Permission to publish, Your Honor?
Certainly.
For replacing, let me plug in first. Currently publishing State's Exhibit 18 on the screen. That's how Mr. Duren appeared when you first encountered him?
Yes. Yes.
Now, you've described to us your first interaction with the defendant, how you introduced yourself to him and asked to get the heat turned down for him. Why is it that you went out to the scene and introduced yourself to him?
I would describe it as building rapport. Again, just making sure he was comfortable, and when we did get a chance to sit down and talk, I did essentially the same thing, but just make sure he's comfortable. If he needed to eat, we would get him some food. If he wanted something to drink, we would get him something to drink.
At the time that you met him at the Applebee's parking lot when he was in that cruiser, did you ask if he wanted any food?
I believe so.
Okay. Did at that time he ask for any?
For food, no.
Okay. How about for anything else?
I believe I told him that I make a good, strong cup of coffee, and we had a discussion about that, and eventually he did accept a cup of coffee.
Did you later make arrangements for him to be interviewed at Troop C?
Yes.
Can you describe for us the location inside of Troop C where that interview occurred?
So there's several entrances to Troop C, which had been renovated not long before this incident. There, to the far left of the building, there is a garage door, and just to the right of that is an entrance. Just inside that entrance to the right is an interview room.
When you say an interview room, can you describe for us sort of how large that is? What's in there?
So it's probably a 9 by 8 size room. It just has a round table with 3 chairs in one corner. In the opposite corner, it has a desk with an office chair and then a separate chair.
When you sat down to interview the defendant, Mr. Duren, who else was present, if anyone?
So Detective Horton, who works with me, eventually was present in the room as well.
This interview that you conducted of the defendant, Mr. Duren, was that audio and video recorded?
Yes.
Can you describe the manner in which that occurred?
Sure. So again, the barracks is newly renovated. We do not have an ideal recording system. So in this particular case, an audio recorder, just a handheld audio recorder, was placed in the room, and then I used my state-issued cell phone to video record the interview.
Was the defendant, or did the defendant consent to this interview being recorded?
He did.
Now, with respect to the interview itself, did you have any interruptions with respect to the recording?
One interruption was so it's recording on my state cell or my cell phone. Not long into the interview, the cancellation of the Amber Alert, which is that loud, annoying sound that the cancellation of that came through the phone, which turned off the video recording.
Okay, so there may be a snag or a delay when the video is playing, is that
Yes.
fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. Now, have you reviewed the video and audio recording of this interview that you conducted with the defendant in preparation for your testimony today?
Yes,
Did you also review a
Yes.
copy of the transcript of that recording?
I did.
Oh, they're allowing the transcript in. That was one of the things they were arguing about before the trial started, was whether or not the judge was going to allow a transcript. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Oh, I like her shirt too. I just sewed polka dots.
Now, for identification purposes only, as states exhibit 27, can you just take a quick look through that? And let me know if you recognize it.
I do.
What is that?
This is a transcript of the audio recording.
Now, with respect to the transcript and the audio recording, did you review those together in order to determine if they were fully accurate?
I did.
Okay, and can you tell us if there are any errors in the transcription?
There are some.
How would you classify those errors?
So there are occasions where I'm speaking, but the text is attributed to Detective Horton. There are also some other where the audio might not be totally perfect. For example, I say the word
You know you're a bot,
Keene,
and she.
referring to Keene Police or the city of Keene, and the transcription says Keith. There's one other that I can think of where we had a conversation about racking around in a pistol, and it says whacking instead of racking.
Okay, so like some word changes, but the video and audio is accurate to what was said. Is
Yes.
that fair to say? Okay.
Whacking. Like a weed whacker. I'm starting a rumor that Angie's actually an AI
Now, after
overlord.
you were in the room and you had, and I'm gonna come grab that for you while I ask you the
True.
question. But after you were in the room and you had your cell phone set up, the recording was going, did you talk to the defendant about his Miranda rights?
I did.
And can you explain for us what Miranda rights are?
So it's his rights to his right to speak to an attorney, his right to answer questions, his right to not answer questions, and just that he could stop answering questions at any time.
Fair to say that advisement we probably all heard on TV and Law and Order and all those other shows that just are everywhere?
Yes,
Okay. Now, when you conducted that procedure here, is it fair to say that you utilized a form?
I did.
Is that customary?
Yes. Doesn't have to be a form, but that's what I use.
Oh, that's a good one.
Sergeant McLaughlin, I'm showing you what I've marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit 25. Do you recognize that form?
I do.
What is it?
This is it's a State Police DSSP 105, New Hampshire State Police DSSP 105 form, which is a Miranda rights form.
Now, when you say DSSP 105, does every form within state police sort of have a number assigned to it?
It does.
And that's where the DSSP 105 is?
Yes.
Okay. But this is a form that you utilize to go over Miranda?
Yes.
In this particular form, do you recognize it in terms of being the Miranda form or waiver form? That
This
you
part in his hair is
defendant?
wild.
I do.
It's interesting.
And is that a fair and accurate copy of the form as you completed it with Mr. Duren?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to strike the identification on State's 25 and admit it into evidence as full. No objection.
The ID may be stricken with respect to Exhibit 25, and it shall be considered a full exhibit.
Can you describe the process, and if you need the form back, let me know, but can you describe the process by which you provided Miranda to the defendant?
So I read each line, you know, for example, line 1 is you have the right to remain silent. Typically, I'll ask, in this case, I asked Mr. Duren, do you understand that right? He would say yes. I put a little check mark next to that, line 1. I would read line 2 and same thing. Then I do add a little bit where I explain, if you start answering questions and you decide for any reason you don't like a question or you don't want to answer a question, we can skip a question and move on, which he said he understood. And then I asked him to, so I write yes next to, do you understand these rights? And I asked him to initial that after I handed the form to him. And then I asked the second question, which is, understanding these rights, are you willing to answer questions? He said yes. I wrote yes, asked him to initial that, and then sign the form. And then Detective Horton signed the form as a witness to Mr. Duren's signing.
Like Horton
Now,
here's
by
the who?
signing the form, is that the defendant indicating that he understood his rights as they were read to him and that he was willing to speak with you?
Yes.
Now, in addition to signing, and without telling us what, if anything, was
Always
said,
ask for a lawyer.
did the defendant make statements to you during this interview that confirmed that he understood his rights?
Yes.
After the Miranda process, did you continue speaking with this defendant?
I did.
Can you describe the manner in which this interview was conducted in terms of interview versus interrogation and how it began?
So Mr. Duren was, I formed the opinion shortly after meeting him at inside the King Cruiser that he was ready to talk to someone about what had happened. And I would describe Mr. Duren as being very talkative that morning or afternoon. And he actually had some questions initially as well. And I had some questions that I was asked to ask about the children. So we started the conversation with basically answering Mr. Duren's questions.
Now, during the course of this interview, was the defendant again offered food and drink?
He had water and coffee before we started the interview, and I think we got him a sandwich after we finished.
If he had asked for a sandwich earlier, would you have provided that?
Yes.
Was he allowed to take breaks or use the bathroom?
Yes. Yes and no, because he had used the bathroom before, and then we kind of gave him we asked about using the bathroom before we concluded, and Mr. Duren actually decided, let's get through the questions and then use the bathroom.
During
This
this
can't be
interview,
very long
when
then.
you were speaking with Mr. Duren, what kind of tone of voice did you use?
Pretty much what I'm using right now. Just normal, my normal self.
And what about Detective Horton? What kind of voice did he use?
Detective Horton is a little louder in general. He just speaks very loudly, but his normal voice,
Did anybody yell or scream at the defendant?
no.
Did at any point you use aggressive body language or aggressive gestures?
I don't believe so, no.
At any point was your service weapon involved?
No.
Now, who spoke more during this conversation, yourself or the defendant?
The defendant.
And who led the conversation, yourself or the defendant?
The defendant, but there, I tried very hard not to interrupt, but there were times where we had to kind of get the conversation back on track.
Now, following the interview of the defendant, was there a search warrant process that was conducted?
Yes.
Can you explain the purpose of that process?
So it's a search warrant, we call it a body warrant, so there's a collection of a number of evidence. The photo that is still on the screen, so there's a number of photographs taken to document injuries or the lack of injuries. Oops, I guess I'm not supposed to talk about that.
No, it's all right.
So we take some photos to document injuries, non-injuries, any evidence that might be on Mr. Duren at the time. There's swabs for different things. So a DNA swab would be basically a Q-tip that goes inside of his mouth to collect cells from inside of his cheek. There would be typically gunshot residue swab to his hands. There would be fingerprints, sometimes a collection of fingernails, sometimes a collection of hair, and essentially in the collection of his clothing.
Is that customary to every homicide investigation that you've worked?
Yes.
Now, in addition to collecting items from his physical person, were items of his personal property recovered?
I believe there were some items from the vehicle and some items from his person. I believe his wallet was one of those things.
Okay. Was his clothing also recovered?
His clothing was collected, yes.
And was a cellular phone recovered?
I believe so.
You indicated that his wallet and identification cards were recovered?
Yes.
Sergeant McLaughlin, I'm showing you what is marked for identification purposes in State's Exhibit 31 in this case. Do you recognize what that is?
I do.
What is it?
It's a temporary New Hampshire driver's license.
Is that a particular person's driver's license?
It's Mr. Duren's.
Okay, was that recovered from him during the search process?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would seek to strike the ID and admit State's Exhibit 31 into evidence.
Can we just get to the interview, please? And thank you.
The ID may be stricken with respect to Exhibit 31, and it shall be considered a full exhibit.
Permission to publish.
Certainly.
Sergeant McLaughlin, I've placed State's Exhibit 31 up on the screen. You still have a copy with you. You also have a screen to look at. Does...
Oh, no. Oh, no. Sorry. Oh, he got there right in time before I did. Okay, I just want to see the interview. It doesn't sound like the interview is very long. So I hope we get it before lunchtime.
All set?
Sergeant McLaughlin,
All
with
set, excuse me, all
I
set,
apologize.
Counsel? Okay, thank you.
Sergeant McLaughlin, with respect to State's Exhibit 31, which is on the screen, on all the screens, as well as in front of you, does that driver's license indicate what Mr. Duren's height and weight are?
It does.
And what were those?
His height is 5'10", and his weight is 190 pounds.
Oh, he's not as tall as I thought he was. She's just really that small. Wow. I thought he was like over 6 foot or something in those pictures. No, she was just very, very tiny person.
Sergeant McLaughlin, before we publish or talk about further or show or ask to admit the recording of the interview that you conducted, I have a few questions for you. During the time that the defendant was speaking with you, did he admit to you that he had shot and killed Caitlyn Naffziger?
Yes.
Did he tell you what hand he had used to fire the gun?
Yes.
Which hand?
His right hand.
Did you ask the defendant whether Caitlyn was threatening to harm either him or their daughter at the time that he shot?
Yes.
What did he say?
No.
Did the defendant explain to you whether his action in shooting
What's the
Caitlyn
question?
was done deliberately?
He said it was deliberate, yes.
Is it fair to say that the defendant told you that Caitlyn had crossed a line?
Yes.
Did he describe where Caitlyn was physically located when he shot her?
Yes.
What did he say?
She was seated on a couch.
Did he tell you where on her body he had shot Caitlyn Naffziger?
Yes.
What did
Cross
he
the
say?
line.
Her head.
Sergeant McLaughlin, did he describe to you the path of travel that the bullet took?
Yes.
If you recall, what did he say?
In one side and out the other, essentially.
Is it fair to say that he said it went straight through?
Yes.
Did the defendant tell you where his daughter Elowen was physically located when he fired the shot that killed Caitlyn Naffziger?
Yes.
Where was Elowen located?
He had pulled Elowen away from Caitlyn and was holding her.
So at the time that the defendant fired the shot, he was holding Elowen.
Yes, my understanding.
Did he describe how Elowen reacted to the gunshot?
He described trying to shield her from seeing anything, and that Elowen kind of put her hands over her ears and said, ouch loud, or something loud.
Did the defendant tell you what his mindset was after he shot and killed Caitlyn?
He did.
What did he say?
He said that he knew that he was screwed, and that he performed well in stressful situations, and then he talked about wanting to spend time with the kids before he wanted to turn himself in or have to be at the police station.
Performed well under stressful
Turn
situations.
himself in this instance?
He did not.
Yeah. So again, how was she a threat? She didn't even have a kid. And that she crossed the line. Sir, that's what an abuser says. Okay. She crossed the line.
McLaughlin, I'm showing you what is marked for identification purposes as States Exhibits 26A and B. Can you take a look at those items?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Recognize them?
I do.
Okay, be safe, Liz.
They are video recordings of the interview with Mr. Duren.
And have you reviewed these specific discs, 26A and B?
I have.
And do they contain the full contents of the interview?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would ask to strike the ID as to these items.
Let's play.
Admit them as full.
Yes.
I know she's just doing her job, but ma'am, just want to watch this video. So yeah, according to the video we're probably going to be watching soon, Dustin himself said it was deliberate, that she had crossed a line. I think figuratively, not literally, with him probably saying, "Oh, I'm going to call the cops and get my kids back." And that was too much for him. Mr. I perform well under pressure does not at all. He had the child in his arms when he shot her in the head. So how is that kidnapping again? You already have the kid back, right? Seems unnecessary. Seems unnecessary. And he had that gun not that far away, ready to go, which is, it was just on a desk, by the way. All right. It wasn't put up. Remember, he has small children around. Just had it laying on his desk for some reason. But yeah. I'm glad we just zoomed in on his license. Probably shouldn't do that, but Liz out here picking up buildings.
So yeah, so he's only 5'10". That was surprising to learn. I thought for sure he was taller than that, but no. Which means, Caitlyn was even shorter. She was what? Like, I forget the height they said she was, but it was like 5 foot. She weighed 114 pounds, which is next to nothing. We saw pictures of her. Actually, I can pull up a picture of her again real quick in case you did not see the other day when I shared these. Here you go. There's a picture of them, and there's the size difference between the two. Remember, he's 5'10", so yeah, she's probably 5 foot. Oops.
At this point, we will take another mid-morning break. I think it will probably be 10 minutes. That's my best estimate, but don't hold me to that. And please do not discuss the case amongst yourselves, and we will be back as soon as we can.
All right. They're going on mid-morning break, but it sounds like the lawyers have some stuff they want to talk about. Probably the transcript would be my thing, but I don't know. Plus, he was a trained Marine. Yes. And to me, I feel like when you are trained for in this manner, whether you're military or even police, right? That bar is raised a lot higher for you, in my eyes. You could have shoot the wound, or
Please.
Oh, look, there's a lady deputy. We hadn't seen her before. We hadn't seen either of these.
First thing I want to confirm on the record is that my assumption is, I haven't asked this yet, but I'd like to do it for purposes of the record, Attorney Duren, that the video that you're proffering does contain redactions consistent with my order issued on October 10th?
It does, Your Honor. It also contains them consistent with the transcript that defense counsel utilized in requesting those redactions.
Okay, understood. And as part of, because I have not viewed the video as part of the state's foundation, I think it's fair to just explain to the jury that that there have been some redactions, and so if they see any skips, not to, I can certainly make an instruction to the jury that they are not to read anything into the skips. I can do that if anyone wishes, or I could just let it play. I can argue it either way. But we'll take that up when it comes. Attorney Kettles, with respect to the specific page, I do have the transcript in front of me.
Yes, Judge, I'd also like to have marked defense, or ID defense C. I think it might be useful for this discussion.
Okay.
This is a corrected transcript that was provided by the state. It's page 1747. And on page
87 original numbering?
87 original numbering, so that's page 1833, line 15. It says, just to tighten that up, it has the same quote I referenced earlier. Mr. Duren, could it be that I'm endangering element by what I did? And I would very much say no. And just from that, even just my training, Sergeant McLaughlin, yeah, just to kind of tighten that up a little bit more, you're an expert marksman of some sort in competition, so it's fair to say you weren't endangering element. So the corrected transcript provided by the state, page 1833, on the transcript itself, page 87, lines 8 through 15, makes it clear that the question that was asked of Mr. Duren by Mr. Sergeant McLaughlin was, it's fair to say you weren't endangering element, to which Mr. Duren responds, yes. My review of the subtitles on the CD that the state submitted is that it says, it's fair to say you were endangering element. Answer, yes. So I think the context of the statement immediately before, as well as the corrected transcript, which I'm going to hand to the monitor to mark for ID, makes it clear that the subtitles the state has are incorrect on a core issue as to the charge of endangering the welfare of a minor, which is whether or not Mr. Duren said he was endangering element. In fact, he said he wasn't endangering element.
Agreed, Sam.
And my concern is just, given that we know we have a transcript of errors, the detective testified that it has errors, generally previously. We have a specific and very substantive example now, and we have the witness's testimony that the transcript contains multiple errors. So to use the subtitles, it's I think improper. The best evidence is the video. We need to make sure the jury gets accurate evidence as to core issues.
Your Honor, if I can just have one moment so that I can lay out for the court exactly the way that this has happened, because defense counsel utilized in their motion filed in, I think, September at this point, around the 25th, with respect to redactions for the transcript, they chose to utilize the original transcript that was provided. The state followed along with what defense was choosing to do. At the motions hearing on October 7th, defense counsel ostensibly derided the fact that the state had corrected the transcript, indicating that we had tried to correct it. And they chose which transcript to utilize. They have waited until today, despite the fact that they received these videos, knew exactly what transcript was being utilized because it was subject to the court order made on their motion. They waited until today to raise this issue, despite the fact that they have had these videos with the transcript attached since Friday the 17th, which is only 10 days, actually less than 10 days after the court ruled on the redactions. They were provided with them, they have had them, they have known that today was coming. They did not raise this yesterday when no one was sitting in court. They have waited, and this is a strategic choice that they have made. At no time did the state choose which transcript to utilize. We, in fact, asked the detective to make sure it was accurate. Defense counsel complained that we corrected it. They didn't use it in their filing on September the 25th. They didn't argue it at the motions hearing on October 2nd.
Yeah, they don't want the transcript.
They didn't ask the court to review it. With respect to the corrected transcript, they have had this for well over, and I'm trying to find the date, well over 6 months. This is not a surprise. There's been no effort to surprise defense. This has all been their choice. This court will advise the jury that the audio of the transcript in the interview, much as I said to the detective, the audio is the evidence. This court, I am sure, will advise this jury that the audio is the evidence and that any difference between the audio and the transcript is for them to decide. Your Honor, this is a strategic choice for the defense trying to gain an advantage. And the state objects to this entire process, but would indicate that this court has ruled on the defendant's request, has utilized the transcript the defense has requested, as has the state. And as such, the state believes this should be admitted, it should be played, and the court can give a limiting instruction.
Your Honor, we're neither accusing the state of doing this on purpose, nor is this an attempt to gain a strategic advantage. When the state opened on the quote, "You need or endangering Elwyn," and the answer yes, that drew to the defense's attention that there was an error or discrepancy in what we believed the video showed. We did not know whether the state intended to introduce the video in all of its pleadings.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Very clearly, and in email communication with us, we're not saying we're going to introduce these statements, but if we do, then here's what we'd like to discuss. The court's order said that any issues with the transcript, I believe the court's order said should be addressed at the time that the state seeks to admit the subtitles. And so again, the timing is not any kind of strategery here, nor are we saying that there was any purpose on the state's part. I'll note that it was the exhibit was produced less than a week ago. As the court knows, it's over a 2-hour interview, a 100-page transcript, and to note differences between different versions of transcripts when there's so many in such voluminous discovery. We learned of it, which is after.
Your Honor, the defense was provided with 2 copies of this transcript. An original copy, which was provided, I believe, in March of 2024 or April. The video itself was provided in March. The corrected transcript, I was in error. It wasn't 6 months ago. It was 11 months ago.
Oh.
Defense counsel has had this. They've had experience with this. It's 2 transcripts, Your Honor. We're not talking about multiple transcripts.
met 2. Of total, the state provided 4 transcripts, 2 originals, 2 corrected. One of them is not at play here. One of them does not involve this defendant.
Attorney Duren, doesn't the issue fall within the scope of the limiting instruction that you've already asked as part of the motion to use transcript?
Yes, sir.
Okay, for purposes of the record, I'm just going to briefly indicate that the court had indicated that it would allow the state to back up a step. There are redactions to the statement which the court has ruled upon. Some redactions that were requested some redactions were made by agreement of the parties. Some redactions were requested by the defendant, and the state objected, and I issued rulings with respect to those redactions. So that's the starting place. The next step is with respect to the transcript itself. The state requested the ability to use the transcript as part of the proceeding. My ruling was that I believed that the use of the transcript would assist the jury in perceiving the evidence. Specifically, when the state asked to use the transcript as part of the trial, my ruling of October 17th indicates granted with respect to the relief requested and as to the state's proposed use set forth in paragraph 6B, which is a simultaneous playing of the video and the transcript, and to use the vernacular, it would be similar to subtitles, like pressing closed caption on most modern TV technology. That's not part of my order, that's my comment. The court deems a one-time use of the subtitles to be an acceptable aid to the jury's understanding and comprehension of the evidence being presented. Exact wording of the limiting instruction may be modified after consultation with counsel at the time that the video is played. In my perception and observation and ruling is that's what's happening right now. The proffered use of the video with simultaneous subtitles will only occur once during presentation of evidence and not during openings or closings, parentheses, to reduce any potential cumulative effect, close parentheses, and such version, meaning the version with subtitles, will not be allowed as an exhibit for the jury's consideration during deliberations. That was my pretrial ruling of 6 days ago. As part of granting the state's motion, the state had proffered a limiting instruction, which is currently on page 5 of the state's pleading dated October 14th, which at the top of the page, I will read that limiting instruction proposed by the state. Members of the jury, Exhibit X, and X is just a placeholder for what is now Exhibit 26B, am I correct? Exhibit 26B, a recording will now be played. A transcript of that recording will be visible on the screen below the video recording. The transcript is not evidence. The transcript is intended only as an aid to help you as you listen to the recording. Therefore, you may only consider what you hear and understand the contents of the recording to be. That means if you perceive a difference between the recording and the transcript, you must rely on the recording. I believe that Attorney Kettles has noted her observation of a difference in perspective as to what is said at the specific time. And as far as I'm concerned, that difference of a perception falls within the scope of the limiting instruction, and that, again, I believe the court's limiting instruction says if you perceive a difference between the recording and the transcript, you must rely upon the recording. Yes. I think that's fair commentary or cross-examination for Attorney Kettles to bring up as part of the playing of the video during a cross-examination of this particular witness, as well as any other comments, if there's any other perception as to any difference of opinion between the transcript and the perception of what is occurring on the video, that's fair commentary. I would also note that my pretrial ruling, again, was that the transcript itself would not be going into the evidence room, nor would the video which contains the subtitles, that the video with the subtitles will be played once, and that version of the video will not be going into the jury deliberation room, nor will a physical transcript. So I understand the concerns raised by the defense. I think they're well-founded concerns based upon, I haven't heard the video.
True.
I'm making no preliminary finding of fact as to whether what Attorney Kettles says is accurate or inaccurate, but as an officer of the court whose credibility I don't question, if she says that there's a perception, difference. I take her at her word for that, and so I think it's fair for her to argue that. I don't think it changes my ruling, and it doesn't change the limiting instruction, because this is exactly what I highlighted when I made my ruling on October 17th as it relates to the redactions, as it relates to the issue of the transcript. So as far as my ruling is concerned, it doesn't change my perception doesn't change my ruling as it relates to the playing of the video with the subtitles, and the limiting instruction will be granted, will be read to the jury. I think the limiting instruction is very important, and I think any perception between what is played on the video and the version of the transcript can be addressed as part of cross-examination. Attorney Kells.
Just a couple more minutes. I'll note that I don't think either party recognized this discrepancy, because I don't think the state would have opened with evidence that it knew to be incorrect. So the corrected transcript is one that I believe has been adopted by Sergeant McLaughlin. I don't believe the court or the state can allow evidence that is incorrect, that is false, to go to the jury. And so I believe that it would be appropriate to what
I don't know why we're arguing this.
McLaughlin about what he said. And if in fact he said, there's, it wasn't, so it's fair to say, you weren't endangering Ellawyn, then either the jury should not be allowed to read evidence that is false, which is an incorrect subtitle, or your limiting instruction should be included, updated to say, there is an error in the subtitle. The actual correct statement is fair to say you weren't endangering Ellawyn. I think we have an issue here where what the state provided as the correct, the accurate statement is different than the evidence it seeks to admit.
I understand, and your reference to not allowing the evidence, your reference to that relates to the playing of it in real time, not opposed to anything going in the room, because I've already ruled the transcript's not going.
That's correct. It goes to the jury seeing false evidence.
Understood.
And so I ask that we be able to what dear
Out of control.
McLaughlin about what he believes he asked, and cross-examine him with the corrected transcript, so that if he does in fact say, it's fair to say you weren't endangering Ellawyn, the jury is not getting false
Understood.
evidence.
Understood, and that they can be instructed so before the playing of the video.
Yes.
And Your Honor, I'm not sure what counsel is referring to as voir-diring him, but they have adequate rights to cross-examination. The state has not done its examination of Sergeant McLaughlin, and as the court has already ruled, this transcript is not evidence. It's not going in. It's not staying with them. They're going to be told that the playing of the statement is the evidence.
Judge, it's going to be played for the jury. To say that things that don't go in are not evidence is akin to saying that testimony is not evidence. The state is now seeking to admit this evidence. It has
True.
an obligation to ensure it is not admitting evidence that is false. And so by voir dire, I simply mean question outside the presence of the jury so that the court can make an informed ruling and not allow the jury to hear false evidence.
I don't think it's false evidence I understand the concern, Attorney Kettles. I don't think it's false evidence as it relates to the playing of the video, when I'm also simultaneously instructing them that if there is a discrepancy, they are to consider the sound on the video as being primary and the transcript as being secondary. I will certainly entertain an instruction that indicates that I have been made aware.
He's like, how many times
I've
did I
been
say
made
that?
aware of an additional discrepancy, which will be an additional discrepancy between the transcript, between the subtitle and what you hear, and that will be addressed by counsel during their examination of the witness. And I think that's fair commentary. I think that's fair commentary.
It is
that
Thirsty
protects
Thursday up in
rights
here.
consistent with my prior rulings. Attorney Duren, any position on what I just said?
No, Your Honor.
Again, the limiting instruction that has been proffered stresses that the audio is primary, and I'm willing to supplement the instruction with a specific reference. I think that the best way to handle it is for me to tell them that they will realize that something that they're going to hear may be different than the subtitle, and then that can be addressed as part of cross-examination.
Maintaining our continuing objection, Your Honor, just one additional is that I don't believe that the exhibit with the subtitle should be a full exhibit.
We get it.
Going back to the jury.
We get it, lady. We all agree.
The only reason it's being offered, Your Honor, as an exhibit for evidence purposes is so that it can be played. If it's ID only, it technically cannot be played, but it certainly can be withheld from the jury's deliberations.
I don't know why we're still talking about.
I mean, the perception, I want to make sure I have the right exhibit numbers. With subtitles redacted, 26A will continue to be, 26A has been identified. 26A will continue to be considered ID. 26B, 26B is the one which has been agreed as a full exhibit, am I correct? And so 26B will be allowed into the jury room. 26A will not be allowed into the jury room. And again, that is only with respect to a one-time viewing by the state, one-time production, playing by the state. If defense wants to play it further as part of cross-examination, they're certainly entitled to do so. My instruction to the state was that it would be a one-time playing. Defendant's continuing objection relative to the issue is noted with respect to the transcript and the subtitles. Again, my ruling is that the transcript and the subtitles themselves are not going into the jury deliberation room whatsoever.
Yeah, let's wrap it up, guys. See what happens? Can't control any of us. So, are we just moving forward with what was already decided before? Yes, that's probably what's going to happen. Oh, that ticking noise. Don't like it. Which, if they're worried about subtitles, I bet this is going to be really hard to hear.
Your Honor, I don't know if it's worth mentioning right now, but this is a 2-hour video. I don't know what the court wants to do in terms of starting it and then breaking it in the middle for lunch, or how the court wants to handle scheduling of it. I think it's 2 hours, 6 minutes and some change.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't aware of how long it was. I know it was lengthy, and I have reviewed the transcript many times, but I wasn't sure how long it was. Counsel's preference relative to the.
I think a preference to start now, go for an hour, take a break. I think that will ensure we have full attention. We won't be difficult to pay full attention to our video.
Okay, given the current time, I'm inclined to stop at 12:30, Attorney Duren, but I don't know where in that process where we will be. But what we'll do is, based upon the defendant's position as just articulated by Attorney Kettles, what we'll do is we'll start the video at some point between 12:10 and 12:30. At some point in that range, Attorney Duren, whatever works for you from your presentation, we'll stop there. And
So that means we'll be back 1:30, 1:45 then?
For lunch.
Okay, well, good. I can go ahead and
Okay, so once
schedule
again,
the
I'm
afternoon
going
stream.
to, my ruling is that the state can play the video with the subtitles. I'm going to be providing a limiting instruction as follows. Excuse me. Members of the jury, Exhibit 26B, a recording will now be played. A transcript of that recording will be visible on the screen below the video recording. The transcript is not evidence. I'm going to use the word subtitles. The subtitles are not evidence. The subtitles are intended only as an aid to help you as you listen to the recording. Therefore, you may only consider what you hear and understand the contents of the recording to be. That means if you perceive a difference between the recording and the subtitles, you must rely on the recording. Further, the court has been made aware of another potential discrepancy between the audio and the subtitles. The discrepancy will be addressed during cross-examination. Again, you are to consider the audio you hear to be the primary source of the information you are to consider. Understanding the defendant's objection to the process, any issue with that specific limiting instruction? Continuing objection noted.
Is it good?
Okay, Attorney Duren, any issue with that?
So glad we argued to, stick with what we already had. So that's cool.
It's 11:23. We'll suspend right now and be back at 11:30 to resume. So
Okay.
Regular break from now, 11:23 to 11:30. We'll resume at that time.
All right. They're going on a quick little break. I suggest everybody else get their bathroom breaks in because we're going to be watching a video. When they come back of the interview, they're going to split it in half. So we'll watch 1 hour, they'll go to an hour lunch, and then we'll come back and watch the other hour. Now, apparently it was very hard for you guys to hear. My audio was like, my booster was all the way up and I had my volume even turned up. So I don't know how good the audio is going to be for this interview that they're going to show us. Fingers crossed it's good. But I doubt it because they were arguing about the transcripts. Now, I've seen a lot of trials. Some the defense, this is a pretty common argument you see a lot in trials, and I do agree with the defense here when it comes to transcripts. Some they won't allow transcripts at all. All right, I see some trials where like you really needed a transcript because you're like, I don't even know what they're saying, and they'd be like, nope, no transcripts, no. And then you have other cases like Donna Adelson, where they were just had the transcripts up on all of that on the screen playing while they were listening to phone calls. So it can vary a bit. And defense does raise some good points. There were errors in the transcripts and the subtitles. I mean, I have subtitles on all the time. They're not the best. We've seen them say crazy things during trials. It's like, how did we come to that conclusion? Right? So if there's errors in the transcript or the subtitles, that could change the mind of a juror, right? Because there's many times where somebody can tell you what somebody is saying, and it's actually not what they're saying, like completely, right? You remember those videos that used to be on YouTube, the bad lip reading videos where they would mute whoever is talking and just ad-lib stuff over them. And it kind of looked like that's what they were saying, right? So that's why a lot of lawyers do argue about using transcripts because it can be influential, right? In a jury, their job is to see and hear with their own eyes and ears and come to their own conclusions on what things mean to them when coming to a conclusion for their verdict. So that's an argument you see a lot. I do agree with the defense. Like, do I love transcripts? Yes, because then I can read them. But they can easily influence somebody in the not best way. And the detective that's already on the stand has pointed out some of the errors. Were they significant? No. Like racking versus whacking, and I forget what the other one was that he said, but yeah, they could possibly lead someone on the jury to believe something that wasn't said at all. So I think it's a fair argument. What the judge has done here to compromise, okay, is so the jury is going to watch this video of the interview. There's going to be subtitles and there will be a transcript. But after they're done watching this video and the juries go deliberate later, they do not get the video with subtitles if they want to watch it again, and they do not get the transcript. Neither one of those are evidence. So that's a fairly good, I guess, playoff there for both sides. Oh, that's his dad. That is Dustin's dad. And I can't imagine how hard it is for him and his mom as well, because if you missed the beginning part of the trial, Dustin's father there is or was a sheriff in Minnesota. I'm not sure if he's retired or not. He had given the Beretta gun, his former service weapon, one to each of his sons, and that's the one that his son used to kill Caitlyn. Now, the father testified for the state. They called him to the stand because Dustin had called his mom after he fled with the children and told her what happened. And then she told her husband, and her husband got a hold of the New Hampshire police. And that's how they knew where to find Caitlyn and what had happened. And I imagine that's a very difficult decision to still have to do when it's your own kid there. And he had to do that. Now, some people have asked, well, where are the children now? The children, I believe, are split between both sets of grandparents. So his parents and Caitlyn's parents help with the children in Minnesota. You know, so his dad, I mean, he knows what's gonna happen. Also, now they haven't brought any abuse into the trial, so we probably shouldn't consider it in our verdict either. But if they do open the door, we could find out that there were numerous times where not only his father, but her father had to pull Dustin off of her. So there's that. But that's what they were all arguing about. The prosecution to get a little spicy. They were like, she's had these transcripts for like 6 months, 11 months. And now today there's like a problem. Like, what are you even saying? There's 4 different versions of this video we've done to our transcripts to accommodate you guys. But so that's what all they were talking about. How'd you guys get talking about poo in the chat? What happens when I look away? You guys, out of control. You guys are talking about Nutria. I've never heard of those. I'm not even going to look them up because it sounds like nightmare fuel. No, thank you. No, thank you. Oh yeah, the bad lip reading, right? They're hilarious, but you know, that's just how our brains work. We can easily be like, oh yeah, that's totally what they're saying. It's not though. Sammy says, like if your mouth moves to the words elephant poo instead of I love you. Okay, now I know where the poo talk is coming from. It's also if you say olive juice. If I remember right, olive juice looks like I love you. At least in high school it did. Kelly says, do they get to take notes? I think so. I believe, yeah, they're allowed to take notes, I think. No jury questions, though, in New Hampshire, which is very disappointing. I do enjoy jury comments. So did we all just say elephant poo out loud? Yes. Yes, we did. Yes. Yeah, he turned his son in, you know. So he is there, you know, he's there to get justice for Caitlyn, it seems, but also there to, you know, support his son. It's a really hard predicament to be in. I don't envy him one bit. Sam, elephant poo for the win. Yes, we have a good time over here on Couch Court with Llama. People don't even know. Don't even know. Tracy says, I'm trying so hard to see self-defense. I'm really trying, but I don't see it. I agree. It's because it's not there. It's not there. Just so many different things. Not only what was occurring when the shooting took place, but then he also fled with his kids, like into a whole other state, which surprises me that he doesn't have like federal kidnapping charges because he did take the kids out of state lines after the fact. So I think that's kind of weird, but maybe they're just like, you know what, this is enough. It's fine. But yeah, no, I don't see any self-defense at all. So it's crazy. Buffy says, if my husband has to pull a man off my daughter, that man ain't walking away. Well, yeah, but she was just sitting on the couch. She was just sitting there. She wasn't even going after him. He had the girl in his hand, his arm. I don't know. When he says, oh, you know, she crossed, well, we'll hear in his own words here soon. That's just what the officer told us. So we'll hear with our own ears that, oh, she crossed the line. What? What is that line? Was it kidnapping? No, it wasn't. It was because she said she was going to call the cops and she was going to take her children back. Mr. I perform well under pressure situations. Now the words elephant poo. Okay. Oh, it's like that, isn't it? Oh, nutria. Well, Llama doesn't pronounce things well, so. And she says, olive juice I knew, but elephant poo is funnier. Oh, I'm totally going to do that when Elbow Feet comes home. So, right. As Kelly said, like the dad, Aaron Spencer, I believe is who you're talking about, who caught the guy essaying his daughter, unalived him. Now he's running for sheriff. That trial is supposed to be in January. And I would like to cover that trial too. It seems very, very interesting. That's out of Arkansas, I believe, Aaron Spencer. So, but his trial got postponed to January. I don't know, the middle of January sometime. So, Viola says, imagine if he didn't call his mom. Who knew what would have happened to the children himself? Exactly. I mean, that's the only thing I'm willing to give this man any ounce of credit for, because I don't agree with any of his plan of action here. But I will say the fact that he didn't harm the children or himself, because unfortunately, a lot of these scenarios that can be very much what happens. And I'm very glad that that was not an option for him. So I'm glad those girls are safe. But Angie says, don't think he's qualified for sheriff, but don't think he should be charged for what he's been charged for. Do they have qualifications to run for sheriff? Because I believe here in Ohio, I could run for sheriff if I wanted to. You don't have to have like any experience to run for any, like I could run for sheriff. I could run for a judge. I'm pretty sure. Might be a little iffy on that. What's the other one that we vote on? It's not like that in all states and jurisdictions. But he said, no, you said that her own dad had to pull him off of her. Oh, yes. Yes. If my husband had to pull a man off of my daughter, that man would not be walking away. Yeah. Yeah. You know, these two had a violent history. So, but remember, the jury does not know that. So that would be usually second-degree murder. And I think that'd be like a mitigating factor. I don't think it's you'd have to argue that, but second-degree murder usually means no premeditation, crime of passion or emotion, like it just kind of recklessness could be second-degree murder. It's not like first-degree murder is like premeditated, which he was initially charged with. And they didn't do away with the first-degree murder until September, like a month ago, is when the state took away the first-degree murder charge and just went with second-degree. So, I mean, to me, it seems a little premeditated, but they couldn't prove it. So,
You're still under oath?
Thank you, Ron.
Okay. Attorney Duren, my understanding is that you were
oh,
the exhibit.
oh, you can be a felon and run for sheriff.
Yes, Your Honor,
You
at
can
this
be a
time,
felon and
the
run for
state
any
would
elected
strike
office.
The ID off of States Exhibits 26A and 26B.
But you can't vote in
and
elections.
consider them as full.
It's very weird.
And
And Judge, in addition to the prior discussion, I would just note that no objection to the non-assigned title.
so the ID may be stricken with respect to 26B from defense perspective?
Again, I don't know Arkansas law,
With respect
just
to
so I know.
26B, and I'm denying the state's request with respect to 26A. as it relates to the inclusion as a full exhibit for purposes of presentation.
Now, Sergeant McLaughlin, before we continue with respect to this, I just wanted to ask you a couple more questions. Do you recall at what point you conducted a review of the transcript that you saw, State's Exhibit 27? At what point you conducted that review in order to determine if there were any typographical or other errors inside of the transcript?
I'd say it was over a year ago,
Okay.
close to a year ago.
And have you been able to look at your corrected version next to the version that was the original that you reviewed?
Briefly.
For lack of a better way to ask that question. I'm going to ask you to take a look at State's Exhibit 32, which I've marked for identification purposes. Council, these are bait stamped pages. I'm going to approach and show you what I've marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit 32. For the record, bait stamp pages 1747 through 1919. Can you take a look at State's Exhibit 32 and tell me if you recognize it? You're welcome to take it down and walk through it if you need.
I recognize it as a transcribed portion of the audio recording.
Okay. And if you look at that exhibit in conjunction with State's 27, which you also have, can you take a look to see if there have been any corrections made? And maybe in order to assist you, I'll direct you to a specific page. If you can look at page 89 of both of those exhibits, and that would be the 89 at the top of the page, not the bait stamp number. I believe with respect to State's 27, that would be bait stamp number 478, and I cannot tell you with respect to the other at this time.
89 on both copies.
Yes. So beginning at the bottom of page 89 and moving into page 90, I apologize.
Okay.
Are there any corrections that you made on that page? If the answer is no, that's fine.
It looks like it's the same at the bottom.
Okay, so no corrections?
Not that I'm seeing.
Perfect. Can you move to page 87 in both documents?
87 backwards.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
I'd like to draw your attention, which should be the middle of the page. Do you see any corrections to page 87 that show that there was an error in the original transcript?
In the middle of the page, I'm not seeing anything.
Okay. May I approach?
All right. Oh, is it? It's so
I'll
loud.
point you to lines 12 to 17, if you can read through those sections, and let me know if there is a difference in, between those lines, between lines 12 and 17.
You wouldn't be able to have a gun either, so I guess that is kind of confusing. Well, that's for Alabama.
Okay, yes, I see it now.
Okay, is
Oh,
there a
but
place in the
Mr.
original
Violence.
transcript, not the one that you reviewed,
Interesting.
where the person who listened to the audio heard, what did the person in the audio hear? Go ahead and tell us.
So there's, in one copy, it says the word were, and in the other copy is the word weren't.
Okay, and is the word were correct or the word weren't?
The correction I made was weren't.
Okay, and you based that correction on listening to the audio, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, you had been present, you heard the audio, and you looked at the transcript and saw that it was a
Send it
written
to
error.
her email address. One of the
Yes.
mods put
Okay,
her email in the
so
chat.
the
Lady.
audio with respect to the statement that you took of the defendant, in that audio, does the defendant tell you that he knew that he was endangering his daughter at the time?
Oh,
Did you
never mind.
ask him that?
Message
I did.
Amos.
You asked him if he was
Actually,
endangering his daughter
from
when he
Discord.
fired the shot, correct?
correct.
What was the defendant's response?
So hi, Amos.
So I asked him if he, so I'm not reading this, correct?
Tell us from your recollection.
Okay. So I asked him if Elwin was in danger when he fired the gun.
And what was his answer?
So I asked, I actually, I have to read this, I think, because I asked, it's fair to say you weren't endangering Elwin, and he said yes.
Okay.
So it's fair to say that he wasn't endangering Elwin.
Okay, but the transcript that is the original transcript to this audio, the word weren't came across as the word were, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, but in all
Okay,
cases,
Amos.
just like you did, anyone listening to the audio should take the audio as the evidence, is that fair to say?
Yes.
November 18th is the new trial date for Brian Walsh. That's when the other two trials I just talked about was. Oh,
Your Honor, at this time, the state would,
Okay.
pursuant with all the orders of this court and the court's indication, publish State's Exhibit 26A for the jury.
thank you, Angie.
Okay. Members of the jury, Exhibit 26A, a recording will now be played. Subtitles for that recording will be visible on the screen below the video recording. The subtitles are not evidence. The subtitles are intended only as an aid to help you as you listen to the recording. Therefore, you may only consider what you hear and understand the contents of the recording to be. That means if you perceive a difference between the recording and the subtitles, you must rely on the recording. The court has been made aware of a potential discrepancy between the audio and the subtitles. The discrepancy may be addressed during cross-examination. Again, you are to consider the audio you hear to be the primary source of the information you are to consider.
There you go. There's all of our
Thank you.
emails. All right, interviews, guys. I'll do my best with the audio. All right, go ahead and try. I got it turned up real loud. Oh, Nathan. Oh, and there's subtitles. That's right.
Your Honor, at this time, publishing State's Exhibit 26A. And one more more questions, Sergeant McLaughlin, before I go. I think we already asked you this, but because it's been a little bit, how long was the interview that you conducted with the defendant?
That's over 2 hours.
Okay, approximately 2 hours and 6 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
And based upon that answer, I'm going to tell the jury we will be taking a break for lunch during the viewing of the video.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Certainly.
Short answer, yes. Long answer, let me do this part first. And then I'll tell you who. So we'll start kind of like your priority concern, and I'll try to answer your best questions as best I can, because I know it's going to be a gazillion things going on, right? And then we'll get into kind of talk about your, before we do anything else, water, coffee, good? So I'm going to read you an argument.
Nope, they're pausing. Thank goodness, because can't hear anything. It's so annoying. Yeah, you can't hear any of it. Of course, right, Sam? It's our luck. We're not lucky people over here. It's like, how many things can go wrong? A lot. A lot. I mean, I guess if the audio doesn't get better, since they have the subtitles on there, I guess I could read it to you guys if you wanted, but...
Okay, members of the jury, it's my understanding that the audio is at the maximum level. Can you hear? Can the jury
They know.
members hear? Let the record reflect that they're nodding yes. And the audio will stay up as much as it can during the entire time.
You guys want me to read it to you? Yes.
Anything you say can be used against you in court. You understand that? You have a right to talk to a lawyer for advice before a question, and to have one with you during a question. You understand that? Yes. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you. You understand that? Yes. And if you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you still have the right to stop asking questions.
You want me to read it? Okay.
I'm kind of like add a little bit to that.
Like, add a little bit to that on my own. Like, if you decide to start talking to us and answering questions, and I ask you a question that you didn't want to answer, or you kind of want to continue talking to us, just say, I don't want to answer that question. Fair enough? And then we can move to another question. You understand each of these rights? Yes. Okay. And I'm going to write yes next to it, and then ask you to initial in a second.
And understanding these rights.
Right, to answer our question. Yes. And I'm going to write this next to that. Let me know this other thing. And then have you initial that and sign it. And I'll have Ed sign. All right. Cool. Glad I got enough coffee. Hey, when I'm doing this stuff, do you want to set up the afternoon stream for me for 1:30? All right. So your girls are at Cheshire Medical, which is down here in Keene. It's affiliated with Dartmouth. And my understanding is that Caitlyn, is it Caitlyn's aunt, Brenda, is a CDC, so DCYF, New Hampshire. You're from Minnesota originally, right? Originally, yes. Okay, New Hampshire DCYF is like Department of Children, Youth, and Families. So they're kind of like CPS, whatever it is, Minnesota, Child Services. All right. At this point, like, if you have questions that I want to ask you too, just about the girls' health and maybe primary care stuff. And whether it's family in Minnesota or family here in New Hampshire. Brenda's probably the closest, I would assume. She's kind of been in contact or in contact with them. So that's
kind of like plan A
Plan A
at
at
this
this point,
point. You're
assuming
making
somebody
some
has to
extra
pay for everything.
thing. It sounds like Brenda will be kind of moved in pretty quickly since she's nearby.
So she can finance that.
Is that a good option for now?
For now,
Can't understand.
for now,
What? Oh my goodness.
I guess how this goes, can I just ask questions or whatever? Does that matter?
Hold on.
Yeah. Well, I'm very easy, as you probably figured out.
Do I sound better now? I think it's because I had the volume up on the other one. Is that better?
Contact the police.
Is that better for you guys? Okay, that's the problem. No. All right. Where are we at here? So so what happened was like 4 a.m. this morning, like an Amber Alert went out statewide, I would imagine. It woke me up at 4 a.m. And that's somebody saw your vehicle. No, I meant up in Berlin. No, I meant how. How did the police know anything even happened? I don't know. Okay. The Berlin police went to the house or apartment, and that's from there. I don't know how they got called. I don't know. Are there neighbors? Well, why don't we wait? I mean, I was asking for a reason, but yeah, I don't know. Okay. I guess I'll say for just family, kind of one of those things was I want to make sure that my mom was aware and that this was that was my preference. So I just wanted to make, okay. Oh, she lives in Minnesota. Oh, okay. Well, it's 2024. I couldn't tell you a phone number off the top of my head. Do you know your mom's phone number? I don't either. Is it in your phone? It's in my phone. Yeah. Okay. Where's your phone? They took it. I don't know. PD? Yeah. At the scene, they took it. Yeah. What's your mom's name? Deborah. Debora. Debra. Yeah. Good thing I asked. Same last name? Duren. Yeah. Duren. So do the kids have a primary care in New Hampshire yet? No. I was supposed to have a phone call today. Convenient. Okay, about it. What hospital? Oh, I don't know yet because we'll probably get into this because I'm assuming you're going to want like an entire walkthrough. We lived in Nevada before here. Okay, Nevada, Minnesota, Nevada, and now New Hampshire. So Minnesota was never really in the picture. I had been in Nevada. I mean, it's in the picture, I guess. I shouldn't say that. We'd been in Nevada for the past, she was in Nevada, and okay, all of us were in Nevada for the past like 4 or 5 years. But I had lived there before that even. Okay. And then I guess we can get into more of the details. But anyways, the kids had Medicaid there. And so what I was doing here was had to cancel their Medicaid in Nevada. And then I had a phone call for them getting set up here. Medicaid here. Yeah. Okay. Today, but obviously the kids born in Nevada, both girls. The Elwin, the 4-year-old, was actually born in Minnesota, but then left when she came to Nevada when she was about 6 months. Okay, about 6 months, and then Valen, the 1-year-old, was born in Nevada, right? And then different names. What's the background on their names? Elwin and Valen. Yeah, is there a meaning or just like the names? There's not really a meeting, no. Just nice names. Nice names are different. They're very different. I like them both, Elowen and Valen. I do great. I do too. How about like any health concerns with the girls? Or any go because of what happened, because of the way the girls came to the hospital? There's a lot of questions. Hmm. And I think the highlight questions are like, do they have any injuries that you're aware of, any poisoning or access to anything like that? They're totally healthy so far as you know. How about like allergies? No, no allergies. Anything else like medically that they need to be concerned about? No. Okay, totally healthy. In other words, what did they order at the restaurant? Did you know? Oh, they were, well, okay, I can't remember. Was it you that came to the door? Yeah. Okay, well, no, because I didn't. You never got inside? Oh, no, no. Okay, I'm sure they've eaten some proper food in Llama. Yeah, and they ate, yeah, I mean, they have been eating. This was more so, and we can probably get into more detail on it, but because I was actually already in New York, but I turned around because I didn't want to. I ended up deciding that I wanted to like
I ended up deciding that I wanted to surrender.
take responsibility. Well, surrender here, yeah. And then, yeah, I had thought, well, I'll try to eat breakfast in Keene, and then I was actually going to go to Concord. Sorry, sometimes it's fast. Okay. Somehow, and I did notice when I was driving through Keene, I was like, because I saw the Chili's and then I saw the police department right there. And I was like, well, I probably going to, if I go to Chili's, they're probably going to be sitting right there. Yeah. And my hopes was that what I wanted to do, and which I will say it was, everything was very professional. So like, I'm very appreciative of that, because I just didn't want to get caught like what happened because I didn't want anything.
I just didn't want to get caught like what happened because I didn't want anything.
Yeah, crazy to happen with the kids there, with the kids or witnesses. I wanted to kind of walk in and be like, hey, yeah, here's the kids, like, please take the kids and whatever. But anyways, but it worked out okay, I guess, in the end. I guess. Obviously my biggest thing is that I didn't actually like, well, we didn't get to sit down and eat, but and then I couldn't like hug them or say goodbye or anything. Yeah. And that was just, yeah, unfortunate. Yes. So do you know a lot more of what's going on the last day or two than I do? So I'm gonna say that because I'm probably gonna ask you a lot of stupid questions that you would assume I would already know. But that's not what. Okay, so I'm just turning this back on because the cancellation of the Amber Alert actually just turned off my recorder on my phone. So I'm just back on that video recording. Mhm. Yeah, so that's kind of like that's what I woke up to at 4 in the morning and stuff. I don't know if you saw it on your phone, but I turned mine off. Yeah, it's a system that in this case actually was very useful and everybody's safe right at this point. So that's what that little thing. So I apologize for that, but I don't think there's any kind of control over that either. So we started to kind of talk a little bit. And I was saying that I'm going to ask you some questions that you're probably going to think, oh, he should know this already, or dumb questions. But my day kind of changed when you pulled into Applebee's. But I was going to ask both Elowen and Valen are your daughters, but also Caitlyn's daughters.
Both Evelyn and Valen are your daughters, but also
Caitlin's mom for both, yes. So that was one question. When did you move to New Hampshire? So I got here the 23rd, January 23rd. Any particular reason you chose New Hampshire, Berlin? Nothing specifically. It was just because that's what worked for the budget that I was working. I got hooked up with a place. Okay. And that's just what worked out. I get like, I don't know if you guys are going to want a whole lead up. Like, do you want a lead up at how we moved to New Hampshire? Whatever works for you, whatever works. Okay, because Caitlyn, because we had been in Nevada, honestly, and I brought her to Nevada, obviously. Once we, I guess, I don't even know. Do you want it from the beginning of like why? Not the very beginning. Why don't we? Oh, okay. So a couple of years ago, because she had been talking about how she didn't want to be in Nevada, and I actually do love Nevada. I have a weird thing for the desert. Mhm. Okay. But like I said, I was like basically was saying, well, okay, then where would we go? Like convince me on what place or what place would make me want to go. And she knew Brenda here in New Hampshire, and so that's one of the places that she talked about. And yeah, so this was brought up and kind of immediately it started catching my attention. And then we were kind of exploring several different states of where to move to. Then it kind of became, okay, New Hampshire, okay. And then my lips are so dry on my chapstick. Well, from there on, it's going to be a little bit of a tangent, but if you want, like, should I just keep continuing? Just go. Yeah, just go. Of course they're going to say that. So then we had agreed, okay, New Hampshire. And then so we were getting fully prepared. So our lease was up in Nevada on, I don't know the day, like July, August of just this past year, 23. And so the lease was up, and then we started getting pods. I hope this is helpful to you guys. Shipped to get all our stuff and bring it to New Hampshire. Then she decided, without telling me, that she ordered her own pods and then got our stuff and shipped them to Minnesota. Mm. I guess I should say, I should be clear on this, that prior to that happening of her ordering her own pods, and she took pretty much like 90% of all our stuff and shipped it to Minnesota. Prior to that happening, like we had problems, but that was like legitimately the first time I even yelled at her. Who wants to be like, okay. And I felt like that's kind of two different pages there at some point, a point. But so we like, even if we had issues, I'm very big on, I've always been very strong on like a nuclear family and raising kids. So with all problems, I was trying to just say, okay, like it doesn't matter. Like just suck up my pride and it's for the kids. And so this is not anything new. Mm. But anyways, that happened to where, yeah, so all our stuff went to Minnesota, and I'd obviously the plan was to go to New Hampshire, and that was without her saying anything. The moment I knew was when the pods like were actually there, and that was when I kind of found about this. And then shortly after, she took our 1-year-old without me knowing. She didn't say anything. She took the stroller like she was going to the park that was nearby, which was normal. We had a park, and kids, we would go to the park all the time. And so she took the stroller and just left like she was walking to the park.
And then shortly after, oh wait, I already read that part. Sorry, guys. I didn't think too much of it, but then it was like several hours later and they hadn't returned. And so like I went to the park and they weren't there. And then I was trying to call. I would be like, what is going on? And she was at the airport already, taking our 1-year-old and bringing her to Minnesota. And I ended up like driving to the airport, trying to be like, yo, what is going on? And I called like my parents, I called her parents. And this will be a common thing in the conversations, but I've always tried to stay I try to keep everyone informed. So like my family and her family. So anyways, when that happened, I talked to my parents. I talked to her parents. They're like, what is going on? I regret not just staying in Nevada. I know that my first mistake, because if I had just stayed in Nevada and having to talking to like family lawyers, I kind of lost power because I followed her to Minnesota. I ended up talking to her family and my family, and everyone kind of convinced me that, if like keep the kids together, because I still had Ellen, and they're basically like, hey, just keep the kids together, just come back to Minnesota, we're all here, and then we can figure stuff out, and then you can continue on to New Hampshire. Like, just come back here and we'll figure everything out. And I ended up doing that. I guess I just, as another clarification of how, like, I had no idea that she left with the 1-year-old at the time. All of her stuff was still in. I kept all the pictures of it, and all of her stuff was still everywhere, all over the house. So she didn't even take anything. She didn't move anything. She just. But anyways, I followed her to Minnesota. And I tried to make things work. There was a lot of fighting. She was very aggressive about how she is the mom and she has all the rights. And so and it was getting to a point to where she was deciding to keep the kids away from me. And it got into a bunch of different stuff. I had been talking to a Nevada lawyer and a Minnesota lawyer, but they were kind of explaining the UCC, or is it GEA? Yeah, the juvenile. Yeah, the Uniform Child Custody Jurisdiction Enforcement Act, to where they're Nevada kids. However, but I guess that's her just saying she can have the kids and not let me see them. We did. I finally had kind of a sit down with her and her dad, and I kind of gave one last shot of, hey, like, throw everything out. Can we just continue to move to New Hampshire? And she agreed. And this was I don't remember the exact date. It was probably, in which this is probably irrelevant to you guys, but all the text and phone calls and stuff like that, I'm sure that will be run through, and this can kind of verify everything I'm saying. And I was thinking just specifically when we met, there's definitely text that day, but October something. But part of that was agreeing, well, okay, they're in Minnesota, and there's holidays coming up. Obviously, there's Thanksgiving. Ellen's birthday is December 2nd. Then there's Christmas, and then Valentine's birthday is January 17th. So we had agreed, oh, okay, we'll stay here then until Valentine's birthday, and then we'll continue on to New Hampshire. And that was agreed upon, and the things were okay.
Not that we were necessarily like having conversations. We were still in two separate places in Minnesota. But twice a week, I would just drive, and I guess this is probably fine to talk about. But I was in the northern area of Minnesota, and she was in the southern area. But twice a week, I was fine with driving down, like dropping off the kids, just bringing them back and forth. So we had a setup that was manageable. And then once the time came, I drove out here. And so that was, again, that was part of it. Just part of the agreement was that I was going to drive out with Elowen, which I guess I should say I drove from Nevada to Minnesota with Elowen. And then she did. She was fantastic with the long drive. Yeah, I was kind of worried about it, but she did fantastic, and it was amazing. I felt way more confident. Um, and so it was that weekend. I don't remember the exact dates, but it was the weekend after January 17th. So, oh shit. But anyways, that's when I took Elowen and drove out here to New Hampshire. We made probably irrelevant, but whatever. But I had made a bunch of pit stops, meeting like we stayed several nights with one of my Iraq buddies. And his family. So the drive was great. We got to New Hampshire, got the spot unsecured. So yeah, we had moved in the 23rd. So as soon as we got to New Hampshire, like we'll have to hire a place, but moved in, I'm pretty sure the 23rd. Okay. And then the plan was for her to fly out with our 1-year-old.
And noting the time is 12:15, and this might be a good place to stop.
Okay. All right, so we will continue with the playing of the video after the lunch break. We'll suspend here for the lunch break. Members of the jury, once again, please do not discuss the case amongst yourselves or with anyone else. Please conduct no research or transmit any information about the case to anyone else. And again, if you do run into anybody at any place in Lancaster during the lunch break, please don't take offense if they don't speak to you at all. We will resume at 1:15. Okay, thank you.
All right. So they're going to lunch. Oh shit. What time did he just say? 1:15 is what he said. Okay. I see. He's like so nonchalant about it, right? Sorry. I was trying my best not to add my own commentary so you guys didn't get confused. Some of you are just listening, but boy, do I have things to say already about this guy. We'll do your comments first, and then I'll go into mine. Poor you, Dustin. It's all about him, even though he just took the kid's mother's life. Yeah. Let's see. He said they chose New Hampshire. I like this up, maybe. Apparently, the only people that they knew was her Aunt Brenda. So that's interesting. Lady in Gray says, I love how the jury gets to see how he presented at the time of the crime. Right? I mean, again, this is the mother of his child, and he's just like, Savage, New Hampshire, and Nevada are very similar in climate too. Almost no difference at all, right? Michael says, I agree, Lady in Gray. I think it shows the jury so much about his mindset and demeanor so soon after eliminating the kid's mom. Agreed. Sir, she does have all the rights. Yes. So he said that Caitlyn, said to him, I have full rights of the kids, which is absolutely true. Because as we did research before, both Minnesota and Nevada, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I can, so I turned it off. Both Minnesota and Nevada are unwed mother states. Not all states are like that, but those two are. Which means if you're not married and you have a baby together, the mother has 100% sole custody, legal, physical, until the father goes to court, establishes paternity, signing the birth certificate does not count, and starts custody hearing to get visitation with the kids. It's the same here in Ohio. I know because this applies to me and I've already been there. So she has 100% rights in Minnesota and Nevada. Okay. So yes, he acknowledged that she has all the rights of the kids, but he was talking to lawyers like, okay, well, buddy, they definitely told you what I just told all of you. So, but he didn't really want to go do that. Now, here's my advice to unwed parents. Fathers, go ahead and just file paternity with the courts, even if you're in a relationship. All right, a good one. Like, you just never know. Also, here's the thing, right? Is let's say a mother dies in a car accident. All right. They're most likely going to give the child to the father, even if he hasn't established rights yet, but they could not. They could just put the kid in foster care until the dad goes for rights. So I always think it's best, just because you never know. That doesn't mean you're going to go to court to fight over things. It's just in their best interests. But yes, she said she has all the rights, which is 100% true. Llama's voice is kind of numbing. I hope that's in a nice way. You guys tell me all the time, Llama, I love your voice. I'm falling asleep to it. Should read to the metronome sound beat. Put you right to sleep. Look at that. Everybody ready for their afternoon siestas? Oh, man, that was something, huh? How did he legally establish that he was the father? No. I mean, so like, even if so first step is going to court to establish your paternity, right? You can either take a paternity test. If you did sign the birth certificate, I know here, again, this is Ohio. I imagine it's the same in Minnesota and Nevada as well. But like, you could take the birth certificate, say, I'm the father. They would, send something to the mother about the case, and she would have to confirm, like, yes, that is the father of my child. Or she can contest it and be like, no, do a DNA test. So that's step one. And even establishing paternity does not give you any legal rights at all. You don't get a say in anything. You don't get visitation. You don't get say in health, anything like that. That's just to establish you're the other parent. You have to then sue the other parent for custody. Now, if you're married, that's not how that works. Not all states are unwed mother states, but quite a few are. But again, it doesn't matter if his name's on the birth certificate. Again, I can tell you from my own personal experience that I'm not going to share with all of you, but it doesn't matter. That's true. And unfortunately, sometimes grandparents fight once a parent dies. There's lots of reasons. Unless, I'm not saying that this is like the best way to go about unwed parents at all. It's a little bit more difficult and maybe seem a little unfair to men, but that's just the laws in different states. So, that just is how it is. Amos says, so dads need to make sure they establish the rights. Yes, very much so. And if you live in an unwed mother state, I'm not sure how many states are unwed mothers. Is yours, Amos? I know Ohio is. We know Minnesota is. We know Nevada is. I think Indiana is as well. Because, like, let's say you and a woman are not married. You've had a baby. You've been together for 10 years. You guys decide to split up. Just because you've been in that kid's life for 10 years, taking care of the kid, watching them, money, all of that, doesn't matter. You got to start at the beginning. You're going to have to go establish paternity. You're going to have to go file for rights. Now, if you're a couple who believes in co-parenting and you can reasonably co-parent, that is not the way in everyone's situations. All right. Ideally, co-parenting is great, but family court is a nightmare. I would never be a family court attorney. People are gross when it comes to family court. But now I will share with you guys. So this is in fact like my situation with my kid. I have 100% soul, all of that. But his dad and I co-parent together. We don't have a legal formal agreement, if you will. That fell through. But I send my son to his house. We've worked together. My son's 14 now. We weren't together at all his entire life. So, and me, him, and elbow feet all kind of co-parent together. But at any time, I can be like, I want him, and he has to give him to me. He doesn't have a say in anything. He can't even sign up for, like individually sign up for our son's schooling stuff because we don't have a court ordered custody agreement. So now that works for us. Some people it doesn't work for, right? Some people you deal with another parent who is hell-bent on vengeance and feelings and things like that instead of what's in the best interest of the child. But that is how it works. So Michigan is not. Okay. Yeah, just search your state unwed mother and you'll find out. Oh, Savage says all 50 states are unwed mother states in the sense that for children born to unmarried parents, the mother is automatically presumed to have sole legal and physical custody until the father establishes paternity through a court order, voluntary acknowledgement, or genetic testing. All 50 states? I didn't know that. Oh, the more you know, because I feel like some states were turning that over because they thought that it was unfair or whatever. So yeah, I mean, is co-parenting easy? No. No. Do we have moments? Yes, very much so. Very much so. But I'm just, that's our situation. That's not everybody else's, but I can tell you for 100% that's how it works. So, Liz says, I fought for both my kids and got full custody. I've had zero help for 26 years. Well, you know what? Way to be an amazing mama. Yeah. Good for you. Good for you. So I am going to take a quick little break, especially since I'm going to have to read to y'all for an hour and a half. I do hope that was helpful. Sorry. The pacing of how they talk is so different that I might miss, some parts, and if I do, I apologize. I'm doing my best. Oh, thank you for setting that up for me, Buff. Do we have it set to where it'll send people? I'll take a look real quick before I sign off. It'll send you guys over to the afternoon stream. Oh, that's not the right one, Llama. You know how to do it. It'll just put you guys over there. If you're not, make sure you've hit that notification bell so you don't miss when I come back live. Oh, there we go. There's the redirect button. There we go. And done. So that should send you guys right over to the next stream. So make sure you go to the bathroom, get some snacks, prepare yourself for whatever nonsense we're going to hear because we already heard so much, and before I go. Okay. So he's like, well, she took her. She just went to a park and then didn't come back and she was on a plane. Sir, you know why? It sounds to me like she was fucking terrified of you. And she had to get out of there as quickly and discreetly as possible because that's what a lot of women have to do in those relationships. They have to leave everything behind. Now, why she took one kid and not the other, I don't know. Not judging either way. Maybe that was the only way. But that's because of you, sir, most likely. I mean, it's a speculation, yeah, but I mean, the numbing comment was a positive one. Oh, that's great. Tracy says, I'm learning so much. I told my husband if he leaves me, he's taking his food vacuum with him. Oh, that's great. Bobby says, well, that may be the law, but that's not how it plays out here in Pennsylvania, Louisiana. Yeah, I mean, family court's a fucking hot mess. I could sit here and talk all day on how much of a travesty family court is, but not today, kids, not today. All right, you guys, I'm going to take my quick little afternoon break. I will see you all. What time do we have that stream scheduled for? I think 1:15. What time am I supposed to be back? I don't know. But oh, it's at 1:30. Hold on. Let's change. I'll change it after I get off here. We'll come back at whatever time it says on there. So I'll make sure it's early. All right, you guys, you all have a great break, and I will see you shortly. Thanks for being here for me today. And if you don't join us until next time, go forth and be amazing. Bye, guys.